9253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports 56 Middays with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. The first hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by Action247.com. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I got a piece of land out in the countryside. Lay back and smell the sun. Warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends.
Greetings and salutations on this lovely Friday here in Memphis and the Mid-South. Welcome into Sports 56 Middays. It's the Friday, September 3rd, 2021 edition of the program. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd in today for Gabe Kuhn. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. First hour of the program is brought to you by Action 24/7. Getting you set for the weekend, which will be a holiday weekend for most, with Labor Day being on Monday. What a night it was last night in college football. Week 1, we started with a game on Wednesday. We had a bunch of games last night, bunch more today. Of course, a ton on Saturday, including Memphis opening up their season against Nicholls, 6 o'clock, Liberty Bowl, Memorial Stadium. You got a game on Sunday with Notre Dame and Florida State. And then Ole Miss and Louisville from Atlanta on Monday, a game you can hear right here on Sports 56. On the program today, we're going to talk about a number of different topics, but specifically, first and foremost, college football. Not only from what happened last night on the field, but also the Big 12 and expansion. That talk, that conversation is more than just conversation, and it's starting to expedite. It's starting to gain momentum here quicker than most people believed, and we will discuss that on the program today. We'll also talk a little Grizzlies. Think about it. The Grizzlies will open up camp at the end of the month, so it is right around the corner, the 21-22 season. We'll talk to Dennis O'Connor, our good friend from the Grizzlies, the Vice President of Ticket Sales and Services. John Varlas in studio at 11:05 on Prep Football. Some interesting games last night and a ton on tonight's schedule. At 11:30, we'll turn our attention to Ole Miss and Louisville. David Johnson from 24/7 Sports. He covers the Rebels. He'll join us for a preview. And then at 12:05, more Tigers-Nicholls conversation as Evan Barnes, the Memphis Tigers football beat writer from the Commercial Appeal, will join us. 12:30, we'll do 10 in a row. The game show that has swept the nation. I'm very disappointed at you folks from last week's 10 in a row. So let's see if we can bounce back strong this week. We'll have a great prize package to offer you up. Of course, if you want to text into the show, hit us up on the AutoZone text line at 360-8255 or call in during open segments on the AutoZone phone line. Same number, 360-8255. Eli, I stayed up way too late last night. That Boise State UCF game was delayed, of course, because of weather down in Orlando. Ended up being quite the game to open up the season.
Yeah, that was it was a fun game. Took them 2 days to play it, but they eventually finished it. And the American needed that win.
They sure did.
It was a rough go of it yesterday. Besides the fact that all of the stories out there about it being picked apart, the teams that played were having a rough night. So UCF coming back from 21-0 down to get that win was much needed for the morale of one Mike Oresco.
We are quick to jump on things on social media. And when I say we, I'm talking about just everybody in general, that they see a first drive go against the highly ranked team, and all of a sudden it's they're in trouble. People don't have patience to wait it out. And sometimes I'm as bad as the next guy, but most of the time I wait it out. So I'm sitting there going, I'm going to have to tweet this out, even though everybody knows it, like you just alluded to. It was a horrible, horrible day for the American Conference on the field and off the field. But UCF was not done yet, and they were down 21-0. And I held back from sending out a tweet. I just had this weird feeling that they were going to make it a game, and they made it a game. And the Gus Bus has arrived in Orlando because it would not have looked good for his first game there with a loss to Boise State, although Boise State came in as one of the better road teams recently over the last couple of years. And they had their first-year coach, and they had Hank Bachmeier, who was, with time, threading the needle all over the field. And Dylan Gabriel made the key mistake early after driving UCF all the way down deep into the red zone, throwing the pick that went the other way for 100 yards. But give UCF credit. They rallied. They won the game 36-31. The line was 5.5. Those guys are pretty good in Vegas. UCF ends up winning by 5.
Yeah, that pick that Gabriel threw for the 100-yard return, I don't know what in the world that pass was. He threw it right to the guy. I'm not even sure what the heck that was, but give him credit. That was a nice rally. Able to get hold on, get that win. It's a big win for the American. We talked about it. If Boise goes in there and beats them, that's a big time win for the Mountain West and kind of positions themselves to make the argument as the better group of 5 conference. But UCF able to do it for the American on their way out, possibly.
Well, you're absolutely right.
That was one for the road.
One for the road. Maybe, possibly, probably. You mentioned Michael Resco, which we'll talk about in just a few moments. He was on our show just a few days ago. That's how quickly things can change and how quickly the news, especially this year, all summer long, now into, still summer technically, but into the football season, just day after day after day, a big story seems to come up. And maybe it wasn't the best timing when we had Mike on because he was still all gung-ho about everything that was going on and confident that they would be part of a P6, not just in name, but actually in reality. And it's going the other way. But again, we'll wait on that because we're going to take your text and even your calls on that topic in just a moment, how it affects the University of Memphis. But you mentioned up until the UCF win, which really saved the night for the American Conference, it was not good. East Carolina, which I think will be a little bit improved this year, lost to Appalachian State 33-19. That was expected. App State is just, they're good. Once they went to FBS, they've been really, really good. The big shocker was Tulsa at home losing to Cal Davis, coached by Dan Hawkins, the former Colorado and Boise State coach. 1917, Cal Davis goes into Tulsa and wins one of 2 teams last night from the FCS to knock off FBS opponents.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
Did they miss another field goal? I wasn't watching.
That's a Tulsa team that I thought is pretty good and supposed to be pretty good. I know they lost some guys from last year, but I don't know what in the world happened last night.
Yeah, I had them predicted a little bit lower than you in our American Conference predictions, but again, that's a non-conference game, so it doesn't matter as far as the conference standings are concerned, but that is not the way you want to start off a season, losing to a 1AA at home, and that's what happened. And then the other team involved last night from the American was USF, and they got blitzed. NC State. Now, it's a solid ACC team, but USF, no offense. They lose 45-0. The other team that was supposed to play, Temple, we told you yesterday on the show that their game against Rutgers pushed back to Saturday. It'll be tomorrow because of the remnants of Hurricane Ida that just drenched the Northeast. Also last night, you had some ranked teams going at it, including number 4 Ohio State, as they break in their new quarterback, C.J. Stroud, just 19 years of age. And early on, looked a little nervous, looked a little unsure of himself, threw a pick. Minnesota feeling good about themselves, had leads in that game a couple of times. But then Stroud settled down, threw 4 touchdown passes, and Ohio State wins at Minnesota 45-31 as they gear up for their big clash next weekend against Oregon.
Yeah, and I guess the best break they caught might have been Muhammad Ibrahim leaving that game with the injury, because he was absolutely just roasting that Ohio State defense. They had no answer whatsoever for him. He leaves the game late in the third quarter with the injury. And
any word on the injury? He's one of the best running backs in the country.
I have not seen any. I don't think they've updated anything yet as far as that is concerned.
You got something, Zach?
Well, are you talking about the running back from Minnesota,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
So there's video of his injury, and it looked like his Achilles popped. Because his leg, the calf, like you can see the muscle kind of wiggling.
That's not good if that's what it is. Hope it's not. He was just awesome, and that's a pretty darn good Ohio State defense that he went for 163 against in 3 quarters. Mm-hmm. But listen, give Minnesota credit. They hung in there, had a chance, and if he doesn't go down, who knows what might have happened in that fourth quarter. But for Ohio State to get a test right off the bat, and Stroud to get out there, and he certainly didn't look great early on, but Olave is a special player, and he made some big plays late, big throws late. A couple of those were to wide open guys, but that's Ohio State's going to be good. They got weapons on the outside. Those receivers are really good.
So Stroud, being as young as he is, who looks incredibly promising, you have now that high school kid who skipped his senior year. What's his name again?
Quinn Ewers.
Ewers. That's a tough name to pronounce. Anyway, reportedly already making over $1 million from NIL. I wonder if the kid ever sees the field. If Stroud is the guy moving forward for years, you can only play one. Well, you can play more than one quarterback, but you really don't want to. So that'll be interesting how that works out at Ohio State. But Ohio State's always done that. They've always had a bevy of quarterbacks, as has Alabama, and it seems to have worked out. So it'll probably all work out. But Stroud really looked good in the second half. He calmed down, and he was confident on the road. And it looked like a great crowd at Minnesota. So he passes the test with flying colors. Other ranked teams in action last night. Not a lot of competition out there for Arizona State, the 25th ranked team. They rolled over Southern Utah 41-14. You had Utah, the 24th ranked team, beating Weber State 40-17, and Coastal Carolina, the 22nd ranked team, over the Citadel 52-14. Couple of other finals. Western Kentucky blew out UT Martin 59-21, and UNLV back at it, playing in the beautiful Allegiant Stadium, home of the Raiders, and embarrassing themselves, losing to a good 1AA, but a 1AA nonetheless, Eastern Washington in double overtime, 35-33, as they failed to convert on the 2-point conversion. Remember the rule changes in college football. Starting in the second overtime session, you have to go for 2. So Eastern Washington, after both teams had scored and kicked extra points in the first overtime session, Eastern Washington scores the touchdown. They get the 2. UNLV scores a touchdown. They do not convert the 2, and Eastern Washington beats the running Rebels.
Yeah, that was if there's anybody out there that happened to bet the under in that game, God bless you. That's a rough one. Game was 6-3 at halftime. The over-under was 67, and it got to the over.
That's incredible. But that's college football. With all the clock stoppages and instant offenses, you can and that's not even with a spot foul on pass interference. Think if they had the NFL rule as far as that is concerned. So, a lot of scoring normally in college football, and we saw a lot of that last night. But really, the game that stood out, UCF over Boise State 36-31, and that really saved the day for the American Conference. But news off the field, not good, as we talked about it yesterday, but then things really started to pick up with the national journalists jumping in and using their sources and furthering the story. And we will talk about that in just a few moments. Love to get your thoughts on it as well, and really what position the University of Memphis will be in. Do want to tell you about Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084. That's 901-438-5084, or online at newroofmemphis.com. They offer financing with many different plans and options to choose from, including a 6, 12, or 18-month same-as-cash option. They'll work with your insurance company. They'll work out of pocket, whatever it takes. Pinnacle is part of the Roofs for Troops program. Any veteran, active, or retired, you get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. They do residential and commercial roofing, so business owners, property managers out there, along with homeowners. If you have a leak or any other problem with your roof, you call Brandon today and they'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof. All their work, of course, is satisfaction guaranteed. If you don't like what they did, or you have an issue with it, just tell Brandon, and they'll come out. They'll make sure it's fixed. Carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, put up fencing, install shingles, siding, rotten wood repair. Whatever you can't do yourself, call the experts at Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Quality work at a very good price. Again, it's Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Locally owned and operated. Call Brandon McCullen. Tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays. 901-438-5084. Online at newroofmemphis.com. Just getting underway on a Friday. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
Taqueria Express has a new location at 6290 Winchester with family deals every day. Mouth-watering chicken tacos, only 99 cents. 3 tacos with rice, beans, and fresh guacamole, only $6. And incredible signature dishes with chicken or beef chimichangas and homemade tortillas stuffed with fresh beans, rice, and cheese on top. If you're hungry, try Taqueria Express's gigantic Macho Burrito, homemade with fresh flour tortilla, and you choose beef, chicken, pork, or shrimp. Includes beans, rice, melted cheese, lettuce, tomato, and sour cream. Fajita fans try Taqueria's delicious chicken or steak fajitas, big enough for 2 people and only $10. If you're thirsty and want something unique, then try Taqueria drinks made from scratch, like melon and pineapple. Margaritas are buy one, get one free, and they got a little kick to them. For real Mexican food, Taqueria Express, 6290 Winchester. We'll see you guys there, and don't forget those strong margaritas. Buy one, get one free.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Come on, one more rep. You got this. 10. There it is. Nice work, man. You're a beast.
Thanks, man. I feel better than I have in years. And I got to tell you, taking Nugenix makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas. The big hurt, right?
Oh, yeah. This is a legit product. The key ingredient is Testofen, which helps boost free testosterone levels and increase lean muscle mass.
Well, it's clearly working for you. Hey, are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try for themselves?
Yeah, Nugenix is a great way to increase lean muscle and feel stronger with more energy and endurance.
Man, I need to get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix.
No problem. You just got to send them a text. Text TAP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Nugenix samples are not available in stores, so text TAP to 321-321 right now. Text TAP to 321-321. That's TAP to 321-321.
It's hot outside and your air conditioner just quit. Quick, who do you call? Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, of course, with 24-hour emergency service available. Automatic understands your house is unique, So they work fast to find the right solution for your family's comfort and budget needs. And with financing available and payments as low as $75 a month, it's never been easier to make your home comfortable. Call 363-4636 or go online to itsautomatic.com. Turn to the experts at Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Greg, Eli, Zach with you on this Friday, September 3rd, 2021. Yesterday during the show, we were talking about the situation with the Big 12. Things were starting to move a little bit as far as the possibility of expansion, which you know is going to happen. It's inevitable as the Big 12 tries to stay alive while Texas and Oklahoma are lame duck schools. So yesterday, throughout the day after our show and through the evening, while games were going on and the talk of Tigers, Nichols for Saturday, opening game for them, and all the great news that has happened with the basketball program, you hear that things are moving at lightning speed with the Big 12, and that's something very soon could be announced. We heard yesterday, and we were talking about it on the show, that there are reports that the Big 12 had reached out to BYU, Cincinnati, UCF, Houston, the latter three being schools that are members of the American Conference. Now, last night, Heather Dinich did say that she, according to her sources, got information that those schools had reached out to the Big 12. Maybe it's semantics, maybe it's not, but others also reached out, which I'm going to assume the University of Memphis as well, being proactive. So this is some information you need to know before we dive into what's going on. So once again, the Big 12 reportedly interested in BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF. The three AAC teams would need to give the league 27 months' notice. Again, this is on paper. Normally, you're able to get out of that stuff. But they're going to have to give the league 27 months' notice, according to the contract. And then each pay an exit fee of $10 million to join another conference. $10 million is a drop in the hat for Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC. Of course, they owe a lot more than that. But that would be a drop in the hat. For the American Conference schools, that's not too shabby there. $10 million is a lot of money. Also, you have to have 8 of the 10 current members of the conference okaying the expansion, okaying each school and their invitations, if that does occur. So that's the kind of the guidelines of where we are. The problem is that it is moving quick, Eli, and right now, once again, if you believe what you're reading, Memphis is on the outside looking in.
Yeah, it's it is the doomsday scenario for the University of Memphis. Being left behind in a picked-apart American is just the worst possible thing that could have come out of all of this. And yes, if these reports are true, and I have to believe that there's probably a lot of accuracy to them. There's a lot of people reporting it from a lot of different places, and can't imagine they're all wrong. So it looks very unfortunate right now as to what this will be. You know, Pat text in on the AutoZone text line said, with the news of not having Memphis on that list, what does it mean for the future of the program? Well, it means once again you're kind of knocked even further down on the relevance chart. I mean, although not in a Power 5 conference, you're in a conference now that had gotten the respect as kind of that top conference of the group of 5. And if it gets picked apart with those 3 teams leaving, now you're kind of relegated back to just a bad conference that you could be the best team in, hopefully, but you're just in a bad conference.
Well, a couple of things. And it doesn't mean if the Big 12 is able to find stability that down the road it's still not going to be a condensed version of what we see now with maybe a couple of conferences. Maybe the alliance between the Pac-12, the Big Ten, the ACC becomes one, the SEC separate, the Big 12 separate. But what it does is I think it puts a lot more division between the American Conference, like you were just alluding to, and those power conferences. Also, with the talk of the 12-team playoff, the expansion of the playoff now tabled, and who knows if it will ever return, that puts Memphis in a more dire situation. Because think about this. If the 12-team playoff was going to happen, then you're still in. In fact, Memphis would be in a better position as far as making the playoff, not the financial ramifications of being in the Big 12. But if you have Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston all gone, you'll bring in a few others, I would imagine, and you still would be a part of the 6 automatics. You would have a great shot of being there if you're Memphis. You'd have a shot. Then, of course, there's the 6 at-larges, which will go, I'm sure, to Power 5 conference teams. But you at least would have a chance. Now that's been tabled. That may not happen at all. So you are in a worse situation than you have been in quite some time. You're talking about basically a return to Conference USA. Basketball was able to survive and thrive. But what stirs the drink? It's football. And all the hard work that's been put in by this administration, by the recent coaches, by the ADs, since I think a lot of, I don't want to say that the past administration going back didn't care, but I know Dr. Raines, who I like, did not particularly care about sports and to put them behind the 8 ball. But when you read about the possibilities and why Memphis is not in the mix, you read about academics, and I know they have improved incredibly well. You read about the fact that Orlando and Central Florida has the huge enrollment, not great academics, but not bad academics. Cincinnati, more of an urban school like Memphis, but could be a travel partner for West Virginia. You have Houston, which is obviously a huge metropolitan area. Not that Memphis is small, but Houston with already Baylor, Texas Tech, and TCU in the conference makes a lot of sense as well. And, of course, BYU is actually a brand that brings a lot to the table. I don't see them going to 14 or 16. So Memphis, which we hear all the time from Laird Beach and Jeff Crane and Dr. Rudd on this show, and they're right. They're in the best position that they can be in. But the perception of this university, of this city, of this area is not great. I don't know why. I don't understand why. I don't understand why Louisville's in the position they're in, and Cincinnati may be in the position they're in, and Memphis is not. I just don't get it. I don't understand. But I could tell you that it can't be great, that perception, because if it was good, Memphis would be in a better place than they are right now.
Yeah, again, I mean, it's unfortunate, and we'll get to some of your texts and other stuff coming up in just a little bit, but we do want to shift gears here and talk a little good news, good stuff happening in the city, and that would be the Memphis Grizzlies, who did announce the other day that this season will be the retirement of both Zach Randolph and Tony Allen's jerseys at FedEx Forum, and they've got some ticket packs named after those guys that allow you to be there for those events. And joining us now is the Grizzlies Vice President of Ticket Sales and Service, Dennis O'Connor. What's up, Dennis?
Hey, Dennis.
How are you guys?
Good.
Fantastic. We need some good news. It's all bad news on the. Can you get us into the Big 12? Do you have any poll in the Big 12?
Yeah, I wish. It's like I heard at the end of your conversation just about it seems like everything Memphis is always fighting for respect. So hopefully, Tigers basketball has a heck of a year, football has a heck of a year, the Grizzlies make another run to the playoffs, and we take a couple steps up that ladder of national respect.
Look, all three of us are not from here. Zach is from Memphis, but all three of us have come from other places. You've been here long enough, Dennis. I've been here 26 years now. I don't understand. This is a great city. We have the Grizzlies. We have FedEx Forum. We have a great university. We have terrific people. There's a lot of growth in the city. Why do you think this perception is negative around the country, or at least somewhat negative? Because you may get it also from the NBA perspective with free agents and things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's I don't know. I mean, I think it goes back to we got to overcome the stigma of being a small market, whether that's small market in population, small market in media size. And then, once you live here, you realize how great a place it is.
Right.
Quality of living is great. Standard of living is great. Great weather.
Cost of living?
Cost of living, yeah. I mean, everything's great. We got, an easy, accessible downtown area and lots of great things. But I guess maybe it's you got to live here to do it, and we just got to promote it a little bit better. I don't know, but hopefully we can, start building up our national recognition of our basketball programs, and people will jump on the bandwagon a little bit more.
Well, the Grizzlies are certainly doing that with the national recognition. Go ahead, Eli.
Well, I was going to say a couple of guys that that came here with the Grizzlies and endeared themselves to the city, and the city endeared itself to them as well, are Tony Allen and Zach Randolph. You guys are going to be retiring those jerseys. We knew it was going to be coming, and this season is going to be that season. You've got the Zebo retirement on Saturday, December 11th against the Rockets. You get Tony Allen on Friday, January 28th against the Jazz, which will have Mike Conley in town for that one. Tell us about the ticket packages and how folks, if they want tickets for those games, what do they need to do?
Yeah, obviously, the retirement ceremonies were announced years ago when those guys left that we were going to retire the jerseys, and unfortunately, with everything going on, we had to push it back a little bit. But pleased to announce that this is the year we'll do those first two with two down the road with Mike and Mark. But I just said Zach in December, Tony in January. We've anchored our 10-game plans around those two dates. So Zach's plan gets Zach's jersey and 9 other weekend dates. So for those folks that have kids or otherwise can't come on weekdays, that's the plan for you. And Tony's plan is anchored around our big games. So the opening night, MLK, Lakers, Warriors, all our big games, and you get Tony's game against the Utah Jazz. So plans are very affordable. They start at $20 a game. Or can be purchased by calling 888-HOOP. Any of our sales reps will help you out. You can go online, get some more information, and purchase them online as well through Grizzlies.com.
Schedule came out recently, and obviously this year, knock on wood, things will be a lot different than they were last year. What did you think of the schedule, Dennis?
Again, I think we can always point out flaws from a business side of things of any schedule. But, I don't like personally having so many home games in November and December. It's harder for us to sell. Typically, interest in basketball here and probably nationally picks up around the holidays and after football ends. So I'd prefer to have a few later games. But, we're starting off hopefully with a winnable game on October 20th against Cleveland, follow that up with a Saturday night against Miami, have some big games on weekends in November with Phoenix and Atlanta around Thanksgiving, and then in December with some Laker games. It'll be good, and we encourage folks to get on board now. We're having a heck of a summer selling full season ticket plans, approaching franchise records and revenue on season tickets for new season tickets, which is great. Wow. With everything else going on, and now we're about a week into selling these 10-game plans, and so far response has been great. So we look forward to getting a full FedEx Forum back out in about a month and having fun at FedEx Forum again.
Yeah, and it's crazy because the season is right around the corner once again. The NBA, it seems like every day we're getting news about various policies and things for players and employees, all that stuff. At this point, and again, it all changes on a daily basis, but is the feeling that once we get to the season, again, it's going to be full FedEx Forum and there we won't have a whole lot of restrictions?
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan. As you said, things are changing constantly. But as of now, the league has given us some basic direction. We're going to follow local health and safety ordinances. So, work with the Shelby County Health Department like we did last year to make sure it's a safe environment. We continue to make improvements in everything from touchless entry, sanitizing stations, airflow, all that stuff that we did last year will still be in effect to make sure that everyone can comfortably come out and enjoy a game and not have to worry about everything else going on in the world.
If there's one question that people are asking who have not renewed season tickets, who are still wondering about what to do this upcoming season, what is that question, and how would you answer that?
I think it's still the fear of the unknown. We talked last year about this, and I think everyone thought by the time football season rolled around last year, everything was going to be back to normal, and then by the time baseball season rolled around this year, it was going to be back to normal, and here we are in year 2. So it's the uncertainty, and I think Shelby County Health Department has worked well with us, and all our building folks have done a great job making FedEx Forum as safe and as clean as possible for everyone to come. And look at what we did last year in the playoffs. We had ended 12 or 13,000 folks in the building, and everyone had a great time. And we look to continue to build on that excitement and the safety policies we had last year, so everyone can come and have fun again.
The 10 and 22 game packs are available. You've got the blue collar pack, the first team pack, you got the Zebo weekend pack, the Grindfather big game pack. All of these you could choose from. You can get more information on the website. And again, what's the number, Dennis, for folks to call?
901-888-HOOP. And our sales reps will help you out, or visit Grizzlies.com and click on our ticket pages, and all the information is there.
And real quick, Dennis, the giveaway items and things of that nature, that hasn't been announced yet, has it?
No, hopefully within the next 2 weeks, probably mid to second or third week of September, we're working on some neat items as we always do. And the good news is last year we weren't able to give away or have any of those giveaway items, but this year we're bringing them all back, and look for news again in a couple weeks.
You gave away hand sanitizer all the time last year. What are you talking about? That was one of the great promotional things ever. Hand sanitizer.
Collect them, trade it with your friends.
You can. Here's a little squirt just for you. Hey, for every, it's not even the first 5,000. It's everybody can get a squirt of hand sanitizer when they come in the building.
My gosh,
Dennis, thank you very much, sir. I'm sure I'll probably see you later.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Dennis. Dennis O'Connor, he's the Grizzlies Vice President of Ticket Sales and Services for the Grizzlies. Maybe I was redundant on that.
That's cool, though. I like the fact that they're naming the packs after Tony and Zebo, and you can kind of see what suits you. And it's also nice. I like the fact that they're doing the Tony jersey with Mike Conley in town. That'll be cool. To have Mike here for that.
I think it's great. They wanted to already have it done. Obviously, the circumstances that arose from COVID did not allow that. Everybody's optimistic that we'll be back to normal. Who knows? I mean, are we still looking at masks inside? I would think right now that you probably will, but hopefully by the time the season starts, maybe you will not have that situation. There won't be the distancing, I don't believe, at least right now, knock on wood. But the fact that Zebo's number and Tony's number is being retired in the same year, I think it's great. And I'm glad Dennis was honest, as he always is with us, about the schedule. Because he's absolutely right. You're a small market team that is, you're not selling out every game like the Knicks and the Lakers and things of that nature. So you want to have weekends where basically you're going to get your biggest crowds that don't have competition or limited competition. And when you have a bulk of those games in November or December with holidays coming up and football in full force, that makes it tough for these guys to sell those tickets.
That's the number one thing they look at on their schedule, and they try and fight for, is to avoid as many college football Saturdays and things like that as they possibly can. But the NBA doesn't care that much about what you really want for your schedule. They're going to do it, however they want to do it.
No question about it. Action 24/7, of course, we thank them for being a part of our show each and every day. First hour sponsor.
That's right. The local sports book here in the state of Tennessee, Action 24/7. And they've got, they're just giving away free money, giving you opportunity to get free money for all those new users out there. When you sign up and make your first deposit, they'll match it 100% up to $400. Use the promo code WHBQ100 when you make that first deposit. That's all capitals on the WHBQ, and they'll match that again up to $400. Plus, right now, bet $5 on any SEC football game. You'll win a free bet equal to the starting quarterback's total yards. That's with Action 24/7, and that's for new users. Bet on any $5 on any NFL game. You're going to win $150 if there's a touchdown. They're just giving you new users out there free money to get you started and get you ready for football season. Go to action247.com, download the app to your phone, and get betting with the local sportsbook here in the state of Tennessee. They are Action 24/7.
You're listening to Sports 56 Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Get your day off to a great start with Peter Edmonston and Anthony Sane on Sports 56 mornings. Weekdays from 7 to 10 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
One of the things I love about betting on FanDuel Sportsbook is you get more than one shot. Right now, new and existing users can get up to $25 back in site credit each day. Just place a minimum 5-leg baseball parlay, and if it falls one leg short, you get up to $25 back with parlay insurance. There's a reason FanDuel Sportsbook's America's #1 sportsbook. In addition to the parlay insurance, if you haven't tried FanDuel Sportsbook yet, new users can place your first bet risk-free. New users get up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code CASH to get in on the action. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only for risk-free bet. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $25 per game. Restrictions apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
There's now a faster and easier way to pick up your Corky's Barbecue. Order and pay online, pull into the designated spot, text Corky's to 474747, and we'll bring your order right to your car. No waiting.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your air conditioning system tuned up? What about your heating system safety check? Good news, you can get them both at the same time this month. Call Conway Services for our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your air conditioning system for only $69. We'll remove years of dirt, grime, and leaves from your air conditioning system. It's like taking your air conditioner to a car wash, all for only $69. And we'll include a heating system safety check at no charge. That's right, Conway Services 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your air conditioning system, and we'll include a heating system safety check at no charge, making sure you're ready for those cold winter nights. And if that's not enough, we'll include a carbon monoxide test, all for only $69. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, electric service company this week, and we'll perform your super tune-up for only $57 with a free heating system safety check.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Like a coin in your man, I am tempted.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Take me to the pilot for control. Take me to the pilot of your soul.
Coming up in hour 2, Todd Barless will join us in studio as he does every Friday to preview all the prep football action tonight, recap what happened yesterday. David Johnson at 11:30. He'll preview Ole Miss and Louisville. That's Monday's Week 1 finale in college football. That game will be played in Atlanta. Evan Barnes at 12:05, the Tigers football beat writer from the Commercial Appeal on the Tigers and Nichols. I'd love for our listeners out there on the AutoZone text line to hit us up, if you can, if you want to do this, with the 3 reasons why you believe Memphis seems to be out of the mix now and in the past for expanding to a Power 5 conference. In this case, specifically the Big 12. Because I can tell you this, and Zach and I were just talking during the break. In 2000, was it 15, 16? When was the last expansion talk with the Big 12 where they ended up not
I think that was
expanding?
2016, if I remember right. It might have been 2015.
And we remember the stories, and here's Memphis, everybody feeling good about themselves. And then they had a story about, well, these 12 teams, it's probably going to come out of these 12. And Memphis didn't even make the cut at 12. And then you heard, well, reasons why. Academics and facilities and this and that. And since then, led by Dr. Rudd, who I applaud, academics have gotten better, facilities have gotten better, the teams are winning on the field, what Penny Hardaway is bringing to the table in basketball, on and on and on and on and on. It's gotten better. But yet the perception is still not good. Why? What is it? Is it academics? Is that important to the Big 12 where they would take a school that's not as good on the court or on the field because they're better in academics? Is it that important? Remember, the ADs are not deciding this. This is a vote among the presidents and chancellors. Is it that? Is it, sad to say, is it racial? Is it, demographics? Zach, we were talking about this as well. That, you look at it from an urban area. Memphis has the highest percentage. I don't know if they have the highest percentage of poverty of those different cities, but you think about the breakdown. I don't know. It just seems fishy to me. Now, what would I do? Well, I certainly go after BYU. There's no question. And I certainly would go after UCF. I think it's an untapped gold mine there. Houston would depend on my members, my current members, if they want another Texas school. But I think Memphis and Cincinnati are very similar. They put a lot of renovations in the Nippert Stadium. It's on campus. Does that make a difference as opposed to the Liberty Bowl Stadium, which they've done some renovations and are planning to do some more, but it's not on campus? Very, very similar urban campuses. Louisville, another one. But Louisville, they got the nod.
Again, I think some of it with Cincinnati may just be really fortunate timing on their part. This happens to be going on when they've got a football team that's in the top 10 in the country.
That too.
I mean, I think they got really lucky that this is the time that it's happening, and their football program right now looks better than Memphis's.
I hear you. You're right. Exactly. Right now in 2021. But it's not like you have to go back to 2010 to remember that the Memphis Tigers were in the Cotton Bowl.
No,
and they were
again,
still 8-3 last year. And they beat UCF last year.
Okay, but
they're not East Carolina.
The expansion wasn't happening then. It's happening now. And Cincinnati is a top 10 preseason team.
So it's all about this absolute second.
They're looking at schools and teams right now. Again, I think it's just really fortunate timing for Cincinnati in a lot of ways. I think it worked out well for them.
I think it's shallow if you're looking at just the fact that Cincinnati is a top 10 team preseason this year. Now, there's other factors. There's obviously other positives for Cincinnati. But I think it's a little shallow if that's all you're looking at. Because it doesn't seem like they're giving Memphis the benefit of the doubt of how much they've improved in every facet, on and off the field, on and off the court, obviously with the academics as well.
The text here says they sent in a link to an article about the Houston situation with Tillman Fertitta and the issues with the Big 12. It says this report suggests that Houston is not a shoo-in. Any truth to this, and wouldn't this give Memphis a shot at the Big 12? Well, there is no doubt that story, and I brought that up a few days ago. There has been some issues in the past. Tillman Fertitta did not hold back about Houston not getting into the Big 12 before and everything else. But all of the reports kind of this time around seem to be saying that the Big 12 is kind of past that and is willing to put everything aside and realize that bringing Houston in is probably the best for the conference. And then the Houston Chronicle article, basically says the Houston thing could be done in like the next week. Like,
exactly.
Like they've got it as like this is a done deal. Houston is absolutely getting an invite. This is going to happen like very, very soon. So it appears as though all of those issues in the past that the Big 12 and a lot of the problem with Tillman Fertitta's stuff, a lot of it was directed at Texas, not wanting Houston in the conference and, like calling them out for being scared and all of this stuff. Well, they're not going to be there. So it doesn't really matter at that point.
And the Houston Chronicle, weren't they the ones who broke the Texas-Oklahoma story?
Yes.
So you're talking about a very well-tuned in publication that knows their stuff. And that's why it's become a huge story for us today. It was a big story yesterday, but it became bigger when you heard the news that things are moving at this type of speed. I didn't expect anything this quick. I figured it would be something that would be sooner than later, but it is really moving in the right direction for expansion.
I got another text here that says it's all about money and TV with all the SEC fans in Memphis. College football already has this TV market. But that doesn't. The Big 12 doesn't care. I mean, the Big 12 is looking at it as, is there a market for that team in that market? Do people want to watch that team? Because they're trying to get the best TV deal for themselves. So if they look at Memphis and say it's a great college football market, they should want it because, all right, we need to bring in a market that will watch our games when they're a part of our conference.
Yeah, there's a lot to say about that. Look, they've thrived in small markets or relatively small markets, although Austin obviously became a big market, which they lose, and Oklahoma City's a big city. But you have Stillwater, and you have Lawrence, and you have Ames, you have Waco. These aren't giant metropolitan areas, and they have been able to survive without having to bring in a Houston metropolitan area. But if that's the way they're looking at Orlando, Houston, Cincinnati, all bigger than Memphis. Cincinnati, not that much bigger. Orlando is bigger, but again, not that much bigger. Houston is a huge city. It's a top 10 city. And Provo, of course, is small, but Provo and BYU, you're bringing in a brand. It's not Notre Dame, but you're bringing in still a name in BYU. Mike is dialed in on the AutoZone phone line. Mike, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Good, thank you.
All right, happy Friday.
You too.
Yeah, I think the whole driver behind this thing, somebody alluded to it before, is money. But, I think that the networks could be in better position to make this thing equitable for Memphis. Because the conferences, I think, are looking at survival. If you look at what Penny Hardaway has been able to do with basketball, I think these conferences and other teams are seeing we need to band together. Kind of like when Jimi Hendrix went to England, all of a sudden Eric Clapton and some of those other guys were saying, hey, who is this guy? What are we going to do?
Right.
So what Memphis needs to do is to leverage with ESPN and say, hey, we want to show these games with these teams. Because Kentucky's announced that they're going to have some kind of alliance with HBCUs, but yet they don't want to play Memphis. So,
but
Memphis
you're talking basketball here. And basketball is just, it doesn't hold a candle to the importance of football viewership, and the football contracts. That's why if basketball was that important, Kansas would have already been scooped up by the Big Ten.
Okay, then that's a good point. But look at this. If those teams leave the American, then for football, invite Tennessee State and Jackson State. Now, what you do, you go into a market like Nashville, and you'll be able to do with football what Hardaway has done with basketball, and then the tail can wag the dog.
Yeah, I don't see the interest in Nashvillians watching Tennessee State football when they have NFL, they have NHL, they have all these professional sports teams, Mike. I understand what you're saying, Mike, but I think this one is all about the football and apparently about academics as well. But I appreciate you calling, Mike, and thank you for listening. I would love to say that basketball is equally as important as football. Because if it was, Mike's right. Penny Hardaway and what Memphis is doing in basketball is the biggest story in the country.
Oh, we just got breaking news here from
Okay.
Woj. The Memphis Grizzlies have traded Juancho Hernan-Gomez to Boston for Chris Dunn, Carson Edwards, and a 2026 second-round pick swap.
Carson Edwards,
Chris Dunn, and they're swapping second-round picks in 2026.
Okay, give me a second to digest that. We'll come back. John Varlas is going to join us. We'll talk about the breaking news. Thank you for that, Zach. Later on in the show, we'll get back into what's happening with the Big 12. Right? What do we say? Never a dull moment. There's always something happening. The Grizzlies have been as busy as any team in the offseason, Eli, and the Tigers basketball team, as I just said, alluding back to Mike's point, the biggest story in college basketball in the offseason.
Somebody texted in and said, Memphis and Notre Dame to the ACC. That's some great wishful thinking. I love this.
Why not?
But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen.
When we return, John Varlas in studio. A busy Friday. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
The Labor Day savings inside the Home Depot means something different once you're back out there doing. In here, it's 3 bags of Miracle Grow garden soil for $10. Out there, it's a backyard that looks like $1 million. In here, it's a special buy on a Lillard White bath vanity. Out there, it's a guest bath ready for guests. Get back to more doing with store-wide savings for house-wide doing. Only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Valid through September 6, 2021. Limit 75 bags per customer. While supplies last. See store for details. U.S. only.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Hi, this is Troy 5 owner of 5 Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't. And thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? 5 Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5 Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Now, this song is finally appropriate, right? We love this song. We play it all the time, all year long. But now it is September, so there you go, Earth, Wind, and Fire. We welcome you back, hour 2 of the program on this Friday, September 3rd, 2021. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, the Zach Attack, Zach Boyd in for Gabe Kuhn. He just had that breaking Grizzlies news that we'll once again give you in just a second. And John Varlas will join us momentarily to talk prep football. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Second hour of the program is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. On the web at gaddisjewelers.com. You can give them a call at 901-767-9648. They are your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners in that same East Memphis location for a quarter century. I guarantee you have driven by it. If not, having stopped in, I guarantee you know exactly where I'm talking about, what I'm talking about with James Gaddis Jewelers. They're part of the fabric of this community. Whether it's a beautiful engagement ring or wedding rings, they have all types of jewelry to choose from, including watches, custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces. They'll buy your gold and silver. So many choices, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry ready to serve you. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Elmo, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Once again, real quick, the trade details for the Grizzlies. According to Adrian Wojnarowski, the Grizzlies have agreed to trade Juancho Hernan Gomez, who they picked up from Minnesota, to Boston for guards Chris Dunn, Carson Edwards, and a 2026 second-round pick swap. We'll give you our thoughts on that a little bit later on in the show, but right now it's time for John Varlas.
It's time to talk some high school sports on Sports 56 Middays. Joining Greg and Eli is John Varlas from the Daily Memphian. Check out John's prep coverage at dailymemphian.com. Now, here's John with Greg and Eli.
There must be some kind of way out of here.
The man, the myth, the legend, John Varlas. Not only a amazing prep reporter, but much, much more for the Daily Memphian. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. He joins us every Friday during the high school football season in studio. How are you, JV?
Greg, every time you do that commercial or that spot for Gaddis, I get wistful from my high school days. I had a mad crush on one of my classmates who worked at Gaddis, and I had to constantly invent reasons to go to the jewelry store over there on Summer Avenue when I was in high school. So yeah, it was. I every time you do that spot, I think about my misspent youth.
Oh my gosh! So that's where they originally were, over on Summer, and yeah, they've been now in East Memphis for 25 years.
Misspent youth or misspent money? Trying just buying jewelry for no reason other than to go see somebody.
He wasn't buying any of that stuff. He was just in there trying to
exactly
right?
just inventing reasons to pop over there.
Mom's birthday is again this week. It's weird. I know it's my mom's 8th birthday this year.
Well, were you successful in your courting?
I was not. Oh. It's the story of my life. I know. Story of my life, but it all turned out well. But yeah, it's funny.
All right, so I know you were out and about last night covering a bunch of things. On the high school football front, what do we got out of last night that needs to be talked about today?
I think last night, the biggest thing that came out of last night was the Mitchell victory over Freedom Prep in Region 8 2A. Really impressive victory there for Mitchell. That game was tied at 14 heading into the fourth quarter, and they scored 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to kind of pull away late. But the reason why that's big is because that sets up a huge showdown in 2 weeks between Mitchell and Maz. Maz, who we've talked about frequently on the show. I expect both teams will be undefeated heading into that game, and with Mitchell having already defeated Freedom Prep, that could, be a de facto region title game right there, midway through the season. So really big victory for Mitchell. Congrats to Coach Cole and his guys over there. They're off to a 3-0 start, playing some really good football. Joseph Adams is one of the kids that, I talk about that not a lot of people know of, but he's a wide receiver, very, very good player. And they got some other good skill guys, and they're just playing some good football. And that's a really positive result last night for Mitchell.
The action tonight, we got some in Division II AAA, which I have the Christian Brothers games. They get into some region games. Christian Brothers getting Ensworth, and then Briarcrest gets Brentwood in some region action tonight against the Nashville teams.
Yeah, it's interesting with Briarcrest because they're going to have to shake off some pretty severe history against Brentwood Academy. They have never beaten Brentwood Academy in their history, and they've been outscored in those games by quite a considerable margin. So I know, that's probably been a talking point around the program this week. They know what a tough task awaits them. But yeah, Briarcrest played really, really well last week against a good Houston team. They Ahmad Miller at running back had some big plays, and I think this new quarterback, this J.D. Sherrod that moved in from Florida, I think he's kind of acclimating himself pretty well to the offense too. And then another interesting player for Briarcrest is a kid that I wrote about this week, and it should be posted anytime here soon over at the Daily Memphian, is a kid named Keyron Crawford. Here's another kid that was recruited from basketball. He, unlike Tyler Bird, who we talked about, Keyron has never played football, but he's 6'6". He's 225 pounds. Coach Stewart says he's got a motor that just won't quit, and they kind of gently twisted his arm and got him out on the football team and put him on the D line, and he's made a really tremendous impact for them in the first 2 games. So just another example of how things may not always work out when the way you anticipate they're going to work out. Coach Stewart said he's already had inquiries from coaches about Keyron, and that's fantastic. I mean, you just never want to limit yourself with opportunities. So yeah, I'm expecting a good showing from Briarcrest tonight. It's going to be tough. Brentwood Academy is always strong. I don't know anything about them specifically this year, but I know they're going to be good, and I know they're going to be very tough to beat, and that'll be a pretty interesting game out there in East.
Yeah, I was good. Obviously, having never won against them, it's tough. But Briarcrest shouldn't feel too disappointed. I think there's a lot of schools that have bad records against Brentwood Academy through the years.
Oh, no.
They've beaten a lot at schools, an awful lot.
Absolutely, and it's going to be interesting, Eli, too, to see how Christian Brothers fares against Ensworth, which is always a tough team. I mean, we saw Ensworth in week 1, lay a pretty good beating on a pretty solid ECS team. So
and then they got beat. Who beat them last week?
Baylor beat them.
Baylor beat them.
Yeah. So yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, Eli. Christian Brothers is still without the quarterback this week.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to have to find a way to, create a situation where they can get Dallin Hayden going. I mean, I think that's going to be key. I mean, I think the secret is kind of out on Dallin this year. I think teams are going to stack the box against Christian Brothers and kind of dare them to throw, and they're going to have to find a way to combat that. And because as we know, Dallin is arguably the best running back in the state, and they just they really have to find a way to get him going.
Yeah.
I mean, coming off that game against Sheffield last week, I know they had a chance to maybe experiment a little bit and use a lot of players and get some guys some experience, and hopefully that'll pay some dividends this week against a good Ensworth team.
Yeah, Eli said he only had 4 rushes, right, against Sheffield?
Yeah. I mean,
so he should be well rested.
He is well rested. He had one catch. He had four carries in the game. Ensworth has a receiver, Shamar Porter, who is really good, has a lot of SEC offers, has 14 catches for 190 yards through the first 2 games of the year. So wow. The Christian Brothers defense is getting another couple of guys back, and they're in the secondary, which could help out to try and to limit Porter a little bit.
Hey, what's the school that Trent Dilfer's the coach at?
Oh, God. Is it Christ Presbyterian Academy? Is it CPA or Lipscomb?
It's Lipscomb, I think. I think it's Lipscomb.
You saw that viral thing this week?
Yeah, do they ever play any of our local teams?
They will in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, okay.
Yeah, those are Division II AA programs, so they will, probably collide at some point with Lausanne or ECS.
Okay, I saw that viral video. You brought up ECS, Lausanne. Who else? St. George's. They all have these non-region games tonight. But for Lausanne, this is their first game, correct? They're going to play Wooddale.
They took they had a COVID victory in week 1 because Southwind wasn't able to play.
Okay.
And then they had just a regularly scheduled bye week in week 2 last week. So
Wow.
this will be their first game on the field, and I'm kind of excited to see what Lausanne's going to look like. They've got the great quarterback over there, Brock Glenn, who has numerous good offers. Memphis has offered, Cincinnati has offered.
Oh, really?
Yeah, quite a few good schools.
How big is he?
He's 6'2", 185, 190-ish.
Pretty good size.
Got a really good arm. Really smart player, kind of a cerebral player. He's got a real good grade point average, as I understand it, a real student of the game. But he's also got a cannon arm, and he started as a sophomore last year. Obviously, they didn't play very many games last year, so he's only got maybe 6 or 7 games of varsity experience heading into his junior year. But still he is the starter, and he's got some good weapons to work with. Craig Cunningham's a great running back. He's got some good receivers. Lausanne always manages to find some really big dudes up front, and I think they're going to really be a contender in that division this year.
How good is Wooddale, the team they're playing tonight? They're 1-0.
Wooddale's always solid. I mean, Coach Griffin does a good job over there, against the odds. That's the programs we talk about with the enrollment going down, they struggle with numbers. But yeah, Wooddale's always solid. Coach Griffin, always gets the best out of his guys. They're going to be tough. They're going to be physical. They're going to give Lausanne a game, but I would expect Lausanne to win. I think top to bottom they're the more talented team, but it's going to be a good representative test for Lausanne tonight.
Germantown, after the overtime loss in week 1 to Christian Brothers, bounces back last week. It's a very good win against MUS. Now they get Whitehaven as this brutal schedule to start the season continues for them.
That's crazy.
Germantown, they impressed the heck out of me against Christian Brothers, and that was a really nice win last week. They just ran all over MUS. What do you think tonight against Whitehaven?
Well, you hit the nail on the head, Eli. We were there. I think you could see in the Germantown Christian Brothers game, I think you could see, Germantown just growing up, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, just getting better and better and better right before your eyes as the game went on. And then they took that confidence, last week and beat a really, really strong MUS team. They ran for nearly 400 yards. And get this, guys, and I want to address this too a little bit if I can. They had 18 penalties and still managed to win the game, and MUS had only 1 penalty. So
1 penalty for the game?
Yeah. So so there's a discrepancy, and people are like, well, JV, why are that's not MUS's fault. No, it's not MUS's fault. It's the referee's fault. To have a game where there's that much of a discrepancy in the penalties, one team has 1 penalty, and the other team has 18. I just, I didn't see the game, but I just don't see how, as an officiating crew, you can come to those kind of decisions during the course of the game. And rightly or wrongly, it just fuels the perception among some of the fans around here that, the refs are just out to get the public schools when they play a private school. And, I don't believe that's the case. But, when you see things like that, it's kind of hard to argue that, perception is reality for a lot of people, and
it's not always going to be even. It's not going to be 15 penalties to 15 penalties.
Right.
But to imagine a high school team going through a game which is 1.
Yeah.
I know they're well coached, but come on.
No, right. And this is nothing. MUS is kind of moot to this conversation. It's about the referees and about how you officiate a game and about the perception. And despite all that, Germantown was able to battle through They won the game. They played really well. Joshua Davis ran for 200 yards, and Cody Davis, the Michigan commit, had 113 yards on just 6 carries. He broke a couple of long runs to set up a couple of touchdowns. So just a really strong effort. I mean, and that's this is a family feud tonight. I mean, Gene Robinson, the Germantown coach, was a star linebacker at Whitehaven. The defensive coordinator at Germantown, Earl Harmon, was the coordinator on the state championship teams under Coach Salisbury in 2012 and 2016. He's coached all the great linebackers that have come through Whitehaven, the Derek Webbs, the Josh McMillans, the Aubrey Millers, at Jackson State, the guys that are at Tennessee, Bryson Eason and French and Tamarian McDonald. He coached all those guys. Wow. So, so those, they're going to know each other inside out. And, Coach Harmon coached Derek Bobo, who's the current Whitehaven defensive coordinator. So, I mean, it's all interconnected. I mean, these guys know each other like the back of their hand, their family. I mean, this is a family feud, and it's going to be a great game, a great chess match between the coaches, and there's going to be a lot of great talent on the field.
All right, let's take a look at a few more games, including other games in that same region. That's Region 8, 6A. Collierville's 2-0. White Station's 1-1. Collierville will host tonight.
Yeah, and I still don't know what to make of Collierville given the relative ease of the competition they've played so far. They've played Raleigh, Egypt, and Douglas, and they won both of those games extremely easy. So this is going to be the first real test for Collierville. I mean, I saw White Station in person last week against a really good Central team. And, honestly, I think if that game had been a few minutes longer, I think White Station would have found a way to pull it out. They've got a good quarterback in Braylon Ragland, who was tremendous against Central. They've got some really good skill guys. Ronquarius Lukes is a name to keep on everybody's radar. Here's another player that entered the season without any kind of headline, any kind of attention, offers, anything like that. This dude's a playmaker. I mean, he's a really good wide receiver, really skilled athlete that can, he can hit the home run for you just about any time. So I was impressed with White Station last week. I think that's going to be a good game. Obviously, that's the Joe Riccone Bowl. Coach at Collierville used to coach at White Station, so there's that element of intrigue to be added to that. I mean, that's going to be a really competitive game for sure.
What do you think about Bartlett Arlington?
Well, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Bartlett so far. I mean, I think they found a quarterback in Will Matthews, who was the backup last year. He was extremely accurate last week. He completed 9 of 10 passes, had a really great game. And they've got some good receivers over there. A kid named Jeremiah Reed had 2 touchdown receptions last week. They're young. They're still finding their way. They're all sophomores or juniors and seniors without a lot of varsity experience because last year's team was so senior heavy. But I think, like we mentioned last week, I mean, Lance Tucker and his guys are getting the job done over there, and Bartlett, they're 2-0 and they're starting to look pretty formidable, and I like their chances against Arlington tonight. 2
schools I don't believe we have spoken about so far since you joined us for the new season are both undefeated in Region 8 4A. Fayette-Ware, Craigmont, they're both 2-0. They'll play tonight at Raleigh, Egypt.
Well, that could be a high-scoring game. Fayette-Ware has, of course, the quarterback over there is Kyle Lowe, who's committed to Middle Tennessee State, and he's off to a tremendous start this year, just putting up some really great numbers running the ball and passing the ball. So that could be a pretty explosive one. Craigmont is they're always tough with Cecil Van Hooks. They've already put some points on the board. They had a shootout already against Bolton in week 1. So that one could get kind of crazy over there.
Our buddy John texted in about Covington, but if I'm not mistaken, Covington's off this week.
Well, John knows that, right? Doesn't John know that?
I think he just wants to hear you talk about Covington.
Well, I'll brag on Covington for a second. They're off. They shouldn't be off. They picked up a COVID forfeit against Millington on Monday, I think. So Covington.
Oh, okay.
Covington's already 3-0. I think they're gonna certainly maintain their number 2 ranking in the state in Class AAA behind Class 3A behind Alcoa, and they're Covington, man. They're just playing their good football. They're running the ball. I mean, check this out, guys. I mean, they're averaging well over 470 yards per game on the ground. I mean, they're getting it done on the ground. Jamarian Dowell, Jalen Fain, and those guys, they're playing good football, and hopefully Covington will be actually back on the field next week, and we can talk about them actually doing something.
Chances Cordova puts one on the left side of the column. They're 0-2. They're playing at Houston 1-1.
I think Houston is going to be kind of smarting from the Briarcrest game last week. I think they're going to be eager to get back on the field. I think they'll be, fully prepared to play Covington, and Covington's just struggling. I mean,
Cordova.
Cordova's just struggling. Last week they played Brownsville Haywood, and it was the worst defeat in the history of the program. They lost 55-0.
Wow.
So, yeah, they're just down. They're just struggling. I know Coach Wimberly and his staff is going to get it turned around eventually. It may not be this week, but yeah, they're Cordova's. I think Cordova's going to be up against it tonight.
There'll be some interesting games in Mississippi as well. South Haven. I always enjoy when one of the DeSoto County teams go south and play some of those bigger, stronger teams and do well against them. I'm not sure what the prospects are for the Chargers this year, but they go to Columbus, Mississippi. They are 1-0. I mentioned the non-region games for St. George's and Lausanne. Lausanne plays a Memphis school in Wooddale, but St. George's will play Olive Branch. St. George is trying to get off the schneid at 0-2. Olive Branch 1-0.
Yeah, I think just numbers wise, I think that's going to be a tough challenge for St. George's. Actually, a really good game down in DeSoto County is going to be the DeSoto Central and Lake Cormorant game. Lake Cormorant played really, really well in their opener against Lewisburg, and they have a kid named Jeremy Henderson who actually won our fan vote for Player of the Week. He had 235 yards on 15 carries, 2 touchdowns, and he also caught a long touchdown pass. I mean, this Lake Cormorant team was they were explosive. They put up nearly 600 yards last week.
Wow.
So the challenge for DeSoto Central is clear. Try to find a way to stop that juggernaut from week one. I mean, that should be a good game, and that's probably the game of the week down in DeSoto County.
Yeah, they seem to get better and better, Lake Cormorant, and they haven't been in existence for that long. I remember when I got here, there was no Lake Cormorant. There were a couple of schools that were created since I got here. But then again, you have so many people that are relocating to DeSoto County. It's become bigger and bigger and more populated, so the need for more schools.
Yeah.
So that's why they're all pretty darn good, pretty competitive on the field.
Yeah, and there's really good coaches down there. The facilities are good, and even though it's just across the state line, Mississippi football is, there's a little bit different flavored, compared to Tennessee football. It's, they produce great athletes throughout the whole state of Mississippi. I mean, per capita, when you look at the recruiting numbers per capita, Mississippi produces, as many college players as any state in the nation. And, you look at their NFL players, their Hall of Famers,
right?
Walter Payton, Jerry Rice, all these great players historically have come from Mississippi.
That's a good point.
It's a football hotbed in Mississippi and DeSoto County as well.
Where are you going to be tonight?
I'm definitely going to be at the Germantown Whitehaven game. I'm going to get there plenty early and settle in and be like Richard Dawson. Let's play the Family Feud. I won't be kissing all the ladies, but I'll be playing
this day and age.
I'll be playing the feud.
When John says get there, John leaves from here and goes directly to the stadiums. Like John's there before anybody else. He makes sure he gets there in plenty of time and beats the crowd.
I'm a little obsessive about getting my spot
I know where you're coming from.
Like the first week he tweeted that he was out at Christian Brothers. I was like, my gosh, it's like 2 p.m, John. Let's take a break.
Well, he helps with the groundskeepers as well. He does everything.
I think he's lining the field at times.
Eli, I tailgate at Christian Brothers. Now, come on.
There you go. Now that is smart. That is smart move right there.
Best tailgating, high school tailgating, would be what?
That's a good question.
Arlington's strong. Millington's strong. Christian Brothers is strong.
Do we have time for a quick story?
Real quick.
Years ago, I was covering a game at ECS, and ECS lost on the last second. It was like a last second field goal or something. So everybody just walks out. They're dejected. They're frustrated. So I'm up in the press box typing my story. And when I leave to go out to my car, I walk past, where they had the food set up, and they have just left trays and trays of food. I mean, they've got hamburgers, they've got hot dogs, they got buns, they got fries. It's all just sitting there, and everybody's gone, right? And I'm like, oh God, thank you. This is like my little gift, right? So I just loaded up, took it home, and man, had a little feast. But
How about that?
Can you do that now though? As you're losing weight, working out?
I shouldn't do it now. But I
if it's sitting there, it's tough to pass up. Isn't
Nothing
it?
wrong with a burger or a dog without the bun. I mean, nothing wrong with that.
That's divine, but that's divine intervention.
No,
right?
there's no doubt. There is no doubt. By the way, we're talking about the Lausanne game. Cameron Kinley tweets that he'll be at his first Lausanne home game tonight since they won the state semifinals back in 2016.
Oh, that'll be great.
Well, big shout out to Cam. I know everybody at Lausanne is super proud of him. It's unfortunate it didn't work out with the Bucks, but he's got his foot in the door now. People know who he is, and maybe he'll have a chance to latch on somewhere else.
Hey, he's going to be successful no matter what he does with his profession and his career, whether it's military or if he gets another shot in the NFL.
He's a heck of a young man.
John, great stuff as always. Make sure to keep up with John on Twitter with all the scores and help him out as well if you have stats and things of that nature. Follow John on Twitter at John Varlas, and, of course, read all his great stories at the Daily Memphian. Thank you, John. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, thanks, guys.
If you are moving anytime soon, the folks at Black Tie Moving are there to help. They'll take as much of the stress out of it as they possibly can. Sitting down with you, coming up with a plan that fits your needs, fits your budget, and then they'll give you a no-obligation quote up front to let you know exactly what it's going to cost. They are the best in the business. You can check them out online, see all the different 5-star ratings that they've got. They've got an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Moving, it can be a really tough time, stressful time, but the folks at Black Tie Moving will, again, take as much of that stress out of it as they can, whether it's across town, cross country, whether it's your home, whether it's your office, whatever you're moving, wherever you're moving, call the folks at Black Tie Moving. 901-316-6196. That's the phone number. Or you can just go to their website, blacktiemoving.com/Memphis, and get the experts from Black Tie Moving on your side.
Ole Miss will face Louisville on Labor Day Monday. David Johnson will join us next to preview the game. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
And now a small business setback. Set to smooth jazz.
It's late. You're driving in the rain with only one thing on your mind. The deer about to total your HVAC van. But with Progressive's 30-plus customizable coverage options, you're covered. The rest is just saxophone.
When running your small business gets rough, Progressive Commercial is there to smooth it out. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Twinkly sound.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage and discounts not available for all vehicles or states. Policy terms and conditions apply.
It's Labor Day, and you need a place for the supplies you need and the brands you trust. That place isn't a warehouse store. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. You'll find the best grills at the best prices, like Traeger, Big Green Egg, and Weber. Quality brands like Benjamin Moore Paints. The perfect place for all you need is East Memphis Ace Hardware. Around the block, what you need in stock from people who know their stuff. Locally owned, locally operated at Quince and White Station. East Memphis Ace Hardware.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town,
There's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day, group play, and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Just a little bit past halfway home on this Friday edition of Middays, getting you set for the holiday weekend, the sports weekend, which will be very, very busy as you talk about the college football week 0. You talk about the Tour Championship, which will end the FedEx Cup playoffs this weekend. NASCAR begins their playoffs this weekend. Major League Baseball about a month ago in the regular season. The NFL starts Thursday of next week with Game 1, Week 1. Remember, 17 weeks now in the regular season for the National Football League.
There is Mark Berman, who is with the Fox affiliate in Houston, tweets out, according to sources, the Big 12 presidents will take part in a call Monday to discuss expansion and potentially issue invitations to Houston, BYU, UCF, and Cincinnati.
So Heather Dinnige's...
they're working on a holiday. Look at that. They're going to extend invitations on a holiday, possibly.
Heather Dinnige's tweet last night then really doesn't mean much. When she tweeted out that the Big 12, or excuse me, that the 4 teams mentioned, they did the reaching out, as opposed to the Big 12 doing the reaching out, really means nothing.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who reached out to who. I mean.
Well, because she said others also reached out. So my question is, if the Big 12 didn't initiate conversation, right? Let's say those 4 and others, I would think the University of Memphis as well would reach out to the Big 12, that the Big 12 that quickly decided, let's move forward with these 4 schools. That's what it seems like is happening.
I'm sure the Big 12 from the get-go has had their idea of which schools would be the ones they want. Dana O'Neill, in retweeting the Mark Berman tweet, she tweets that she says, Memphis in line to become the next UConn of expansion, which is not good. And the unfortunate part is that could be the sad reality of this. Memphis, again, is the team, would be the most prominent team, for sure, in the American Athletic Conference that is left out of this.
Well, it also reaffirms what I believe will happen, and I think a lot of people believe it as well, that Texas and Oklahoma are getting out next year, that they are going to be part of the SEC next year, and the Big 12, which to me look like absolute implosion, will try to save themselves, even though they will be a shell of what they used to be, by bringing in the likes of BYU and those American Conference teams. But when you have autonomy, I had somebody go back and forth with me yesterday on Twitter that said basically, let me see if I can find what this person, who I respect, said to me, and I disagreed completely, said that, where is it here? Getting into the Big 12 at this point will be no more helpful than getting into the Big East was a decade ago. And I said, no, you're talking about a conference that right now, yes, it's the butt of jokes, but it still has autonomy. And as long as you don't lose that, you have the ability to still have a nice television contract. It won't be what it was with Texas and Oklahoma.
Said it from the very beginning, the people who thought that the American could just go pick apart the Big 12. The bottom line was the Big 12 always had the advantage because they already had the status. And the American teams would leave in a heartbeat for the Big 12 rather than Big 12 teams leaving for the American. You have autonomy, and you're a Power 5 conference until you're not.
David Johnson's going to join us here in just a second. Did get a text on Facebook. They said, how do we text the shows now? 360-8255 is the AutoZone text line. 360-8255. So lots happening. We're going to get back to the Grizzlies trade in just a bit. But as promised, time to talk some Ole Miss football. Of course, we'll have the game for you on Monday right here on Sports 56 as Ole Miss will open up their season against Louisville in Atlanta, the final game of Week 1. David Johnson covers the Rebels for 247 Sports and CBS Sports. You can follow him on Twitter at Rebels247, and David joins us now on Middays. Hey, David, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. So Ole Miss will close out Week 1, as I just mentioned. How well do you think the Rebels are prepared for their opening game against Louisville?
Well, we're going to find out Monday night. That much is for sure. I think they had a great fall camp. And to be honest with you, I have never seen – I've been covering this team for 12 years, an Ole Miss offense run as smoothly, without the little things that generally plague you in fall camp, such as false starts and drop balls and things like that, as this offense did. I am super excited about getting to see Matt Corral with an entire offseason under his belt to see how much improvement he's made because, Matt said it himself earlier this week. He's expecting Louisville to come out there and drop 8 coverage. And why is that significant? Well, that's what he saw in the 6th interception game against Arkansas last year. But he spent the offseason trying to adapt to that particular style of defense and try to prepare himself for it. But I think it's an intriguing matchup. I think a lot of Ole Miss fans have kind of been guilty to look at this as a W, simply because Louisville went 4-7 last season. But that is a great coaching staff at Louisville. And if you go back and look at that 4-7 last year, guys, it could have been 7-4 or 8-3 even, with a couple of bounces their way last season. This is not a bad football team. Ole Miss is going to play Monday night. I think this is going to be a good and entertaining game.
David, was there any surprises at all with the depth chart for Ole Miss going into this game?
Not really. Not really, particularly on the offensive side of the football. You knew where the sore spots were. They had to find somebody to replace Elijah Moore at the slot. They've got a parade of capable guys there. I think you're going to see platoon-like play at that position, particularly early on, until somebody shows they have the hot hand. Right tackle, where Royce Newman once lined up, he's now a rookie with the Green Bay Packers, graded out the highest of any lineman in NFL exhibition action last weekend. They had to replace him. They moved right guard Jeremy James out to right tackle, which James, I think, is probably the top NFL draft prospect on that Ole Miss offensive line right now. Those were the sore spots. You've got the returners, Matt Corral, obviously, at quarterback, Jerry Neely, and a loaded backfield, a wide receivers room that is very talented. That's the other knock that's been on Ole Miss over the offseason. How will they replace Elijah Moore's production in the slot? Well, look, they're not void of guys there, and they're not void of receivers out on the edge. So I really don't think that'll be a hiccup. Now, the depth chart surprises on defense, I wish I could tell you about them, but to be honest with you, all of the practice viewings we saw, and Lane was wide open the first week of fall camp. Mm-hmm. There is so many multiple formations and so many various alignments and so much rotation going on. Yeah, they released a depth chart earlier this week. I don't think it's worth the paper it's written on, to be honest with you, on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to run a lot of guys through a lot of different positions Monday night and try to see if they've got some real depth, particularly on that defensive line. I think, that's the biggest concern. They gave up almost 210 yards a game rushing last season. They brought in some guys over the offseason. There's some new faces sprinkled in all around this defense, plus 8 starters return. So, if that defense is better And it doesn't have to be a lot better, just incrementally better than what it was last season. This could be a special year for Ole Miss. If not, they could be staring 500 in the face once again. And I think we start to get answers to that Monday night.
It's funny you're talking about the defense, and I was just looking at it. They've got 6 oars on the defensive side of the ball. So so they're not really, you can get a whole lot out of that. What about what kind of impact now being able to play a full season can Otis Reese have?
Yeah, I think he can have a tremendous impact. You know, if you go back to last year, every week just about Lane Kiffin would go, well, we're playing without our best defensive player, while Reese was dealing with NCAA eligibility issues. And you saw what he could do in the last 3 games of the season last year. I mean, the guy is an impact player. He's versatile. They can play him at a couple of different spots on the back end of that defense. And he's a headhunter. I think he can make a huge impact. And, you know, I was just talking about the new faces. You got a kid that transferred in from the Navy, the Naval Academy, who wasn't eligible last year, and Jake Springer. He's a rover-type guy. He's going to play a lot. You've got Chance Campbell, who transferred in from Maryland at an inside linebacker spot. You know, he could be an impact player, and as well as the defensive tackles, Jamon Gordon and Isaiah Aiton, both the number 1 and number 2 JUCO D tackles in the country in the 21 class per the 247 Sports Composite. Ole Miss got both of those guys, and you know, they should be able to make an impact. Now, a lot of times with JUCO guys, you know, it takes a little period of acclimation. And they don't need it to take too long because they're going to need both those guys to help. But there are reasons to be hopeful that the Ole Miss defense will be much improved this year.
David, going back to the offense, and you had mentioned some of the names, especially the skill positions. Jerrion Ely, who everybody knows is as talented as they come, and he's getting a lot of the preseason accolades as a kick returner and that type of stuff. But he's going to get a lot of carries. How do you think the breakdown's going to come between Ely and Parrish, and who knows what other things they may do, the tricks up Lane's sleeve with John Rice Plumlee? How do you think it'll look?
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you asked that because I think Henry Parrish may be the best kept secret in the SEC. So really from carry distribution in the backfield, I would not be surprised if it's pretty evenly divided between Jerrion Ely and Henry Parrish. And they're both going to be asked to do things other than play running back. You mentioned Ely's role as a kick returner. He's one of the best in the SEC. Both of those guys are going to see time in the slot receiver spot this year as well. So, you know, and while Jerrion Ely's on the field, he may not always be lined up in the backfield.
Okay.
Both of them have good hands. Both of them have a lot of wiggle, a little bit of different kind of wiggle from each of them. And I think along with John Rice Plumlee and Jacour Pearson, who transferred from Western Kentucky, you're going to have a parade of guys at that slot spot. And, you know, I asked Matt Corral yesterday, actually, you know, these guys aren't robots, you know, so you're going to get a little bit different kind of route run every single time somebody lines up in that slot. And it's not going to be Elijah Moore every single play. And I asked him if that made a difference. He says no. He says as long as they're where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. The stylistic differences in these guys ought to come after the ball is in their hands. So, you know, that's going to be something we're going to be watching Monday night. You know, what kind of production does Ole Miss generate out of the slot receiver spot?
So what do you expect to happen Monday?
Yeah, great question. You know, when you look at everything on paper, you put all the evidence together, what you've seen of fall camp in the preseason, what you know about each team's roster. I think if you turn the TV on midway through the third quarter Monday night, it's going to be a close game. I do believe Ole Miss has so much firepower that in the end, that's going to be the difference. They're going to end up outscoring Louisville. And I think, you know, last I looked, the over-under on this game was around 76, 78 points. I think that's about right. I think you're going to see a lot of scoring Monday night in Atlanta, partly because both teams' offenses, you know, they have star power. You could talk about Malik Cunningham when you talk about Louisville. And they're a little bit more blue-collar and enigmas on the defensive side of the ball. I think these offenses will be ready to go. But I do think Ole Miss pulls away. Yeah, 7 to 10 point win in the end. I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be fun to watch.
David Johnson covers the Rebels for 247 Sports and CBS Sports. You can follow him on Twitter at Rebels247. David, as always, thank you so much. Enjoy the game. I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Take care. Does that do anything to change your thoughts on Ole Miss? You like the cover at 10.5.
No, listen, I certainly respect him, and he knows more about the team, but I just think that Lane's going to – I think Lane will put on a show on national – given Lane the sole stage, national TV in the opener, I think he's going to want to put on a show, and I just think they're better than Louisville, so I love them to cover.
I tend to agree with you. FanDuel Sportsbook is hooking new users up with enhanced 30-1 odds for the first huge college football game of the season. There's some big ones this weekend, but none bigger than Georgia or Clemson. So pick either Georgia or Clemson to win, and you turn a $5 bet into a $150 payday. I like Clemson to win on the money line, but I think Georgia covers. Sign up and make your first deposit to kick off the college football season on America's #1 sportsbook. There's no better place to bet college football than FanDuel Sportsbook. Great promotions, #1 rated sportsbook app, easy to use, fast payouts. You're paid in as little as 24 hours. So make the most out of your college football this week with enhanced 31 odds on Georgia versus Clemson. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, sign up with promo code GASMAN so they know we sent you. That's promo code GASMAN. You must be 21 or over, present in Tennessee. New users only. Must wager in designated offer market. $10 first deposit required. $150 max bonus. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. The Vols win their first game under Josh Heupel. How do you think Joe Milton performed? We'll talk about that when we return. They didn't cover, but they won 38-6. Little Vol talk when we return in our final segment of hour number 2. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You have opinions?
Well, you gotta have an opinion.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
No one outfits golfers better than Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been fitting golfers since 1968. Utilizing cutting-edge fitting technology, we'll analyze your swing and our Foresight launch monitors and fit you with the perfect club, pair of shoes, the latest golf apparel, golf balls, bags, and more. So come by today for your complete custom fitting. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Southern Airways, we fly to make your day.
Memphis's hometown airline, Southern Airways, wants you to beat the Mid-South heat and head to the Emerald Coast. Southern is the easy and convenient way for Memphians to get to Destin. Want to spend some time on the lake instead? Fly over the interstate traffic and bypass any delays and take one of Southern's flights to Hot Springs, Arkansas. Short flights and popular regional destinations like Arkansas's festival city of El Dorado and Harrison, Arkansas, the gateway to Branson, each have daily nonstop flight options from Southern Airways out of Memphis. Flying Southern is easy with no TSA screening hassles and free parking at Signature Flight Support. So if you're planning a quick weekend getaway, be sure to fly Southern Airways. Visit iflysouthern.com to reserve your seats today.
At Southern Airways, we fly to make your day.
It's hot outside and your air conditioner just quit. Quick, who do you call? Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, of course, with 24-hour emergency service available. Automatic understands your house is unique, so they work fast to find the right solution for your family's comfort and budget needs. And with financing available and payments as low as $75 a month, it's never been easier to make your home comfortable. Call 363-4636 or go online to itsautomatic.com. Turn to the experts at Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing.
The original hot dog factory and Spice Wing, located at 4265 Hex Cross Road near 385. The menu offers a variety of all-beef hot dogs with over 20 choices. Try some of the best-selling favorites like the Bacon Wrap Memphis Dog and even sausages like Street Polish, Italian, or Jamaican Jerk Chicken. Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 till 10, and Sunday, 11 to 8. Catering and event hosting is available. Have your next meeting or family gathering at the original hot dog factory. Now hiring team members. Apply in person. The original hot dog factory and Spice Wing.
Hotty-toddy Ole Miss.
Boom! That's a way to start it. Right open down the seam. Caught. Touchdown. Caught at the 20 by Braylon Sanders. He trots into the end zone. Touchdown. We run the ship. Corral is on a roll. He's got it to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Lane Kiffin throws his clipboard.
Monday, Ole Miss battles Louisville and Atlanta. Kickoff at 7 with pregame coverage starting at 5 on your home for the Rebels.
Catch Ole Miss Rebels football right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Final segment here in hour number 2. Coming up in hour 3, Evan Barnes joins us from the Commercial Appeal. We'll talk some more on the Tigers and their game against Nichols tomorrow, 6 o'clock, the opener for the Tigers. We got 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. We started the show talking about some of the games from last night and got real busy with the Big 12 conversation, which things are really heating up as far as expansion is concerned. And again, Memphis's name not mentioned and what it could mean. That I neglected to really dive into Tennessee last night. Tennessee and Bowling Green. So let's take the next few minutes to talk about the Vols. They win 38-6 over Bowling Green. As everyone knows, Bowling Green is a really bad FBS team. But the Vols last night led only 14-6 at the halftime, and then they just got real physical with them in the second half. 326 rushing yards. Jabari Small, who's from Briarcrest, I believe, right, Eli? Briarcrest?
Yeah, Briarcrest has 2 SEC running backs.
124 yards, 2 touchdowns for Small. The running game was terrific, as I mentioned, 326 rushing yards. Joe Milton had 44 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Passing-wise, though, 11 of 23 for 140 yards and a touchdown. He has a holster. I mean, the guy can throw the ball on a line from probably 90 yards, but his accuracy is right now the big question. It's only game 1, so he did some good things, did some bad things. Easy win in Josh Heupel's debut as the Vols head coach.
Yeah, it was a lot of the stuff that plagued Milton last year at Michigan. He is throwing downfield, not real accurate, and he just doesn't. He doesn't put much touch on the ball. It is he is coming throwing heat constantly. There's no change-ups. He is going to fire it. And there were a couple of drops on some balls by receivers that I think part of that has been the fact that, again, and he's 10 yards away from you, and he's throwing it seems like about 300 miles per hour. There's no doubt the arm strength is there. He's just got to learn a little bit with touch, maybe put a little more air under the deep balls to let guys maybe run under him a little bit. But they went fast, as you know they're going to do, especially starting that game early on. They came out, and I will say this: they're still not a real good football team. There's still some issues, but they are infinitely more entertaining than they have been the last few years.
Well, like you said, with Heupel and as fast of an offense that they have, you think they'll be able to score a bunch of points, but when they run into some of those formidable SEC defenses, will Milton be able to come through? I'm not the biggest fan of Joe Milton.
One thing's for sure, he will not be able to stand just flat-footed in the pocket like he did last night. There were some of those plays. He literally, I think, could have stood there for probably a minute, and they were never going to get to him because the pace of that game, and obviously Bowling Green doesn't have great depth to begin with. They were just wearing that defensive line out, and they're not that good. I mean, there was a couple. I mean, he literally is just standing there flat-footed, scanning the field like, boy, what am I going to do with this one? You don't get to do that against the Alabamas and Georgias of the world.
And in defense of some of those receivers, like you said, Milton throws a seed no matter how far away you are from him, which is a lot different than what Jared Garantano did last year, Harrison Bailey. So you got to get used to Joe Milton a little bit as receivers. 84,314 at Neyland Stadium, and I know they can jam in 100,000 and have done many, many times. But I thought that was a great crowd.
Yeah,
all things considered.
Looked good for a
Thursday night.
Against Bowling Green. I thought it looked like a really good crowd. And again, they're going to lose. They're going to lose some games, but they will be a lot more fun to watch. That is for sure, because that offense. It just at times it still amazes me when I watch Josh Heupel's offenses. like how quickly they can get back to the line and get the next snap off. It's insane.
Well, it says a lot about those offensive linemen. Gabe's obviously not with us today, but offensive linemen in those type of systems, that's pretty impressive.
Oh, you got to be, you got to be in great shape because you're literally getting some of those, like you're getting like a 10-second break between plays. It's that quick how fast they snap the football.
Some sad news to report. Former All-America linebacker Keith McCants, who started Alabama, played in the National Football League with a few teams, including the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who drafted him, was found dead in his home in Florida, a suspected drug overdose.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. And then today, David Patton, former New England Patriot, 3-time Super Bowl winner, died at 47 years old.
Jeez, what was the cause? Do they know?
I don't. I have not seen anything yet. I just saw some stuff on Twitter that he had died. I'm not sure if they know anything as far as cause goes or anything like that.
You know, when Evan Barnes joins us in our next segment to talk Tigers-Nichols, he also is the interim reporter from the Commercial Appeal covering the Grizzlies. I'll get his thoughts on the latest Grizz trade. I'm sure he's up to date with the information. But John Hollinger, our old friend John Hollinger, said Memphis will save $225,000 on this trade and gets a pick swap of better of Indy or Miami, the better of the two, with Boston, which is something. Thought Wancho could have helped if he made shots. Dunn can really defend if knee is okay, but is yet another 6'4" guard. He might not be there for long.
Yeah, this trade is very much non-consequential. I mean, Hernan Gomez, they had told not even to report, so he was never going to be a part of this. And there's a good chance that neither one of these guys will be a part of the team.
Grizzlies continue to swing deals with a list growing of guys who will never, ever play in the city of Memphis. 2 hours in the books. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Tiger football opens at home against Nichols Saturday, September 4th at 6. And the rest of the schedule features SEC opponent Mississippi State, Navy, SMU, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now for all games, including Mississippi State, which starts at $60. Season tickets are also on sale, and you can get all 7 games for just $99. To lock in your seats for all the action, call 901-678-2331 or visit GoTigersGoTix.com.
The 34th Annual Memphis Chevy Show, presented by T-Mobile, makes its return to the Memphis International Raceway September 10th and 11th. The premier destination for all things Chevrolet features multiple classes of drag racing, an automotive swap meet, jet dragsters, and more. Get your vehicle registered and enter in a professionally judged car show, or just put it on display. You can also just sit back and enjoy the show. Tickets are now on sale online at just $20 for Friday and $25 for Saturday. Don't miss out on the largest car show in the Mid-South. Go to racemir.com for more information.
Farmers Insurance knows that there's a not-so-subtle difference between the sound of a car hitting your rear bumper and the sound of a clown car hitting your rear bumper.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Sorry about that.
We call that a 3-ring fender bender, and we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent.
They know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
The Labor Day savings inside the Home Depot means something different once you're back out there doing. In here, it's 3 bags of Miracle Grow garden soil for $10. Out there, it's a backyard that looks like $1 million. In here, it's a special buy on a Lillard White bath vanity. Out there, it's a guest bath ready for guests. Get back to more doing with store-wide savings for house-wide doing. Only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Valid through September 6, 2021. Limit 75 bags per customer. While supplies last. See store for details. U.S. only.
At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
When it comes to tires, auto repair, and car maintenance, Gateway has it all. Gateway Tire and Service Center is here to help you with all your service and tire needs. Choose from Yokohama, Toyo, Firestone, and Michelin. The list goes on and on. We have tires for all your needs and budgets. And when it comes to service, Gateway Tire has the most experienced mechanics and state-of-the-art equipment. Come see us for any repairs, alignment, struts, air conditioner, schedule maintenance, and more, including brakes with a free brake inspection. Then take advantage of the Gateway credit card. Apply to today for stress-free financing made easy with no annual fee. Ask about our 6-month deferred interest with any purchase over $149. Go to gatewaytireandservice.com for great deals and coupons. Gateway Tire and Service Center has it all for you and your family.
At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Remember the last time your family visited the forest? It's a place of wonder and imagination for the whole family, where stories come to life. And it's closer than you think. Ready to plan your next visit? Make the forest part of your story today at a local park near you, or find one at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Everyone's watching to see what you do. Everyone's looking at you.
Oh, they certainly are looking at Eli. I know that. Oh, blast it. Come on. Zach, up. Put it up, baby. Here we go. Come on. Everybody together. You're the singer. Come on. There we go. Everybody's working for the weekend. For many, it's a 3-day weekend with Monday being Labor Day. We'll be back, though, starting at 10 o'clock for Sports 56 Middays. We welcome you back to the program. Greg, Eli, and Zach, who's in for Gabe. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. A lot of things happening in the world of sports. The Tigers are getting ready to hit the field tomorrow. To talk about that, we welcome in our good buddy Evan Barnes, who's the Memphis Tiger football beat writer from the Commercial Appeal, but also does a lot of things with the Grizzlies. You can follow him on Twitter at Evan_B. He joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Evan, how are you?
I'm good, Greg. Good, Eli. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
So I got a lot of things to ask you, not just about Tigers football. So let's strap in, because this whole Big 12 thing's got the city of buzz, and it seems like things are being expedited here, and I want to get your thoughts on that. But first, another Grizzlies trade. I'm sure that you have heard here in the last hour or two, where they trade away Juancho Hernangomez, who they acquired from Minnesota. He goes to Boston. They pick up Chris Dunn. They pick up Carson Edwards, and then flipping draft picks. Two guys who probably won't be here when it's all said and done, Evan?
Yeah, that's pretty safe to assume at this point. I mean, that obviously things can change in training camp, but this is another trade where the Grizzlies are seemingly playing around with salary cap space to basically try to, move some pieces around on the back end, try to maybe position themselves either for a bigger deal or acquire some draft assets like the second-round pick swap. So I would caution fans, don't get too attached to these guys. Don't start thinking about what Chris Dunn or Carson Edwards could do with the Grizzlies next year, because right now it seems like they're continuing to make these deals to either get the roster down to under 15 players by training camp or try to acquire some draft value or some other pieces that maybe can help them out in the long term.
And save money.
That too. That's the most important thing. They got rid of some contracts that they acquired this summer that, frankly, they did not need. They got rid of Rondo's contract, Patrick Beverly, Juancho Hernangomez's contract of $6 million is off the book. So it's all about saving some money and trying to get some assets. That's what it seems like this deal is about.
Yeah, it's they've got a lot of draft assets going forward. They've got they're going to have a lot of things they can do going forward. And it's funny, because it seems like every time they make a trade, it's like they give up one and they bring in two.
Right.
It's like they're constantly, the roster keeps growing.
Yeah, it's almost like a merry-go-round, or I don't even know if you can call it musical chairs. Usually, musical chairs is like subtraction when you're moving pieces around. But it's like a merry-go-round. It's literally like bring somebody in, and then somebody gets off, and then more people get on. So it's almost like you're trying to like figure out where this is going, but in reality, it's going around the same place over and over, and just new pieces that are on for the ride.
Well, not to belabor this point because we want to get into Tiger football here, but there's got to be a method to the madness if you put your trust in this front office, which most of us have done, whether we're in the media or just regular fans. But I've been hit up by friends, and they're wondering about what is going on, because all we hear about is putting yourself in a better position for the future. Well, after a while, you start to get tired about talking about the future. You want to talk about now. What can you add to a team that was just in the playoffs? So I can understand a little bit of frustration and concern by people out there that are wondering what the heck they are doing.
Yeah, I mean, it is very strange because, again, like you said, this is a team that you think is going to take some kind of a leap next year. Whether they get to the playoffs or not, there's going to be some level of growth with the healthy Jaren Jackson. And right now you're looking around like, so where's the three-point shooting? Where is the extra scoring off the bench going to come from?
Right.
It seems like right now the Grizzlies are pretty comfortable with what they have. They're pretty much banking on the fact that they're going to have a healthy Jaren Jackson so that maybe they don't have to worry about putting too much pressure on Zaire Williams, who is going to be a project. You saw what he could do in Summer League, but the Grizzlies are going to take their time and not put more on him as a rookie. But you do look around with these moves in the sense of what is the end game going to be? And right now, we're not sure. So basically, we're looking at what's coming back, and you're saying, can that team, adding Zaire Williams and Steven Adams, can that team possibly win 40 games next year? Probably, but will it matter in a deep Western Conference? Probably not. So you kind of are basically assuming this team is going to roll the dice, trust what they have next year to get better with this core, and then hopefully next offseason is when we see maybe the big move to go along with, obviously, Ja Morant's rookie extension and perhaps Jaren's extension if the team doesn't extend them before the first game of the season.
Meanwhile, the Tigers football team will be opening up the season tomorrow night against Nichols. You're a busy man, Evan. You got a lot of stuff going on. But what's your thoughts about the quarterback situation and the fact that Ryan Silverfield's still not naming an actual starter? We don't know if we'll see two or more. How many we'll see tomorrow night? But what do you think about the quarterback situation?
I think it's basically we're going to see Saturday either be an audition that continues from fall camp. And that's probably the main thing I can sense right now is that when Grant Gunnell got hurt, based on what Ryan Schofield and Kevin Johns have basically said, is that they need more time to kind of see this battle play out a little bit. And that might imply that, one, Seth Hennigan has really, really impressed, the true freshman from Texas, or it might mean they want to be sure that Grant Gunnell is healthy and can fully go. Now, Schofield told us on Monday he is a full go. He has been in practice. But my sense is that if this battle is still going to be decided on Saturday, there might still be some questions to be had as far as just making sure that, he can be good, or they want to have some insurance with Hennigan just in case. So my guess is one scenario is you're probably going to see multiple quarterbacks play. Maybe Keelan Brown gets a chance to play a little bit, the redshirt freshman. But I don't think we're going to see this quarterback battle settled after this first game, and perhaps maybe not until after the Arkansas State game.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. He's not going to come out. Coach was on with us yesterday. He's not going to come out and say, yeah, this is kind of a dress rehearsal, taking Nichols for granted, because if you do that, you can get stung. So he's never going to do something like that. But I think it is going to be an extension of camp, whether it be because he was injured or not, to see really where those quarterbacks are. So I think you're very astute with that point. Now, I want to ask you about the fourth quarterback and whether or not he will continue to be a quarterback. We haven't heard anything about Peter Parrish, who's a heck of an athlete, an LSU transfer. What do you think his future is with this program?
Honestly, I mean, we have heard literally nothing, almost nothing about him, except for us being at camp until 2 Fridays ago. We have really heard very little about how he's coming along. You've seen clips, obviously, from what the team releases, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he's going to be the odd man out just from what we've heard. Like Kevin Johns mentioned 3 quarterbacks last week when he spoke to us. And then with the depth chart out, we saw 2 quarterbacks. So I'm guessing if you're Peter Parrish, you're probably seeing the writing on the wall. And let's be honest, we saw last year that there was news that came out about what happened with him at LSU, being allegedly accused for assault, and he was suspended by LSU. Now Parrish did eventually try to, sue, basically saying his Title IX rights were violated, I believe. But still, that's kind of been hanging over this as well too. So you kind of wonder if Parrish has played himself kind of out of this just because of how he's played on the field, based on how Goodell has looked, Brown has looked, Hennigan has looked. So if there is any kind of shakeup, maybe perhaps Peter Parrish is on the move, because obviously the young man wants to play quarterback, and right now that room is looking mighty crowded. And we saw this when Brady White was named the starter. Brady White, we saw David Moore leave before Brady White was named the starter, and then you saw every quarterback behind Brady White eventually leave over the next 2 seasons.
Right.
We're probably going to see some movement in that quarterback room. And, oh, by the way, Kevin Carter's looming next year, who's going to enroll early. So it may be a sign that maybe Peter Parrish looks up and say, you know what, let me try to see what my other options are.
The Grizzlies might trade him for a second-round draft pick somehow. I don't know. Well, who knows?
No, they got to bring in 2 guys, though.
Who knows? I don't. Somehow they might have the rights to him by now. I don't know what they're going to do. Do you buy in, Evan, to the defense, which is a very veteran group, being much better this year in year 2 under Mike McIntyre?
I buy the defense being better. I think we're going to have to see, again, Arkansas State will be a better test than Nichols, even though Nichols' offense is high-powered. They averaged 48 points last season at the FCS level. They have some key transfers. They have a lot of depth and a lot of experience. Their whole offense is returning every starter. So it'll be a good test for the defense to show how much better they are. But I think next week's game will show even more. And I do think that experience helps, because if I'm not mistaken, that 2019 group had quite a few guys back who played, in 17 and 18. And then that system really helped them grow. So I think the defense will be the strength of this team going forward until we figure out who the quarterback is and if the Tigers' running game can return to what it was between 17 and 19.
Well, speaking of the running game, you look at the depth chart, you see this Brandon Thomas at the top of the depth chart, a redshirt freshman out of Little Rock, and you hear so many things, positive things from the coaches. The one thing that really puzzles me is where Drake Clark is with his career, because that's a guy who came in and I thought he was a can't miss from Starkville High School. He's had some injuries, but listed 3rd on the depth chart. What do you think about him being that low on the depth chart, and how important is it when he gets his chances to come through and be that running back everybody expected him to be?
I think it's going to be very important for him because, as you said, he was a starter last year when Kenny Gainwell opted out. He pretty much went from the guy who started the season opener to when he got hurt, he didn't play. And now with everyone talking about Brandon Thomas and the shakeups in the running back room, it's going to be important for Drake Clark to kind of show what he's got whenever he gets a chance to get on the field. And knowing Memphis, they will put out multiple running backs. So I don't think we've seen the last of Drake Clark, but I do wonder just kind of like, where he fits into the rotation right now. Like, I think that they're clearly Thomas has been called a go-to guy by Anthony Jones Jr., the running backs coach. Stewartfield is high on him. John is high on him. Marquavius Weaver has really impressed from last year. Obviously, lurking around is Asa Martin, who came on strong last season. So I think if you're Drake Clark, you understand kind of like, you're going to have to kind of fight to get more carries, because it seems like right now he's also been kind of pushed back and has to kind of fight his way back to the top.
Other than Dykes, the tight end position, who do you see as the number 2 kind of receiver to Calvin Austin?
Start with Javon Ivory. He played last year. He obviously had a few catches in that UCF game where I remember looking at Mark Jean out in the press box like, holy cow, like this guy's got some toughness in him. He will definitely be that number 2 guy. He played last year. He's got confidence. He's got a little bit of that DeMonte Coxey swagger and vocal leadership that was missing a little bit last year. Obviously, Calvin, guys respect him and listen to him too. But Javon Ivory, I think, is going to have that kind of like the similar year where you saw Calvin kind of take a step forward last year. Javon Ivory will take that step forward, but also keep an eye on Gabe Rogers. We've heard some things about how he is going to be a versatile threat. Silverfield was clear to not compare him directly to Tony Pollard or Kenny Gainwell, but they say that his athleticism is off the charts, and they may try to use him in versatile ways. So don't be surprised if Gabe Rogers also kind of emerges as that, versatile speed threat who kind of can give some of that extra home run pop besides Calvin Austin.
Tigers are a 3 to 4 touchdown favorite, somewhere around 25.5 points. How do you see the game going, and what is your prediction for the announced crowd?
All right. It would not surprise me if the first quarter is a little bit of a struggle, just because, again, if Memphis has a new quarterback, it's going to take some time to get that rhythm going. It wouldn't surprise me early on if, let's say, halfway through the first quarter, the game's still tight, still trying to be decided. But by the second half, I think Memphis will pull away. Just, again, too much, a little bit more depth, a little bit more size up front with this O-line. They'll pull away eventually. I think I predicted Memphis to win by 25 on my predictions at commercialappeal.com. We have a scouting report up. So I think that'll happen. As for the crowd, I think the excitement will be back. I think people will be ready to be there. I don't think people will be scared by parking at campus and taking that ride share or the other parking lots that are available. I'm going to go ahead and say between 35, 37,000 maybe.
I think that would be a really good, solid first crowd against a 1AA with the COVID thing still hovering. I think that would be a really good number. What do you think, Eli?
Yeah, I think that'd be fine. I think that's I think it's a good, probably a pretty good guess.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like, we all understand, Nicholls State is not Mississippi State in terms of bringing people out to the Liberty Bowl. We understand that. We've been here long enough where we know kind of what drives people out here. So I would say that's going to be a good start, but then 2 weeks from now when Mississippi State comes to town, I'd say let's expect that crowd to be over 40,000.
All right. Last thing for you. We've been discussing a lot of it today on the show. We did yesterday as well, but things seem to really speed up yesterday with the stories that are out there about possible movement sooner than later in the Big 12. Once again, we don't see Memphis's name anywhere around. How are you and the boys at the Commercial Appeal looking at this situation moving forward?
I think right now everything is fluid, like you said. It's really kind of tricky because at this point it seems like the powers that be in the Big 12 and the AAC are now basically trying to figure out, hey, we need the AAC. You're trying to hang on and position yourself as the next power conference that can move up and try to poach the Big 12. But the Big 12, it seems like, is saying, hey, we're going to try to solidify what we have here. And with your Memphis, you can do two things. One, you can worry and fret that you're not mentioned in the reports among the 4 schools that they're looking at, or you can hope and pray and let things play out, and hopefully that this season goes well as another audition to perhaps help. Because, look, Memphis has been successful in the AAC over the last 7-8 years. We since 2014. The body of work speaks for itself. They've been to a New Year's Six Bowl. They've been to the AAC championship games. They've been, when they played UCF, they've driven some pretty decent ratings among, non-Power 5 teams. I think the evidence is there, but it all depends on what these Big 12 folks are going to do. So at this point, you almost have to just kind of hope and pray, but perhaps you're not worrying as much as maybe AAC Commissioner Mike Oreska, who's hoping that this doesn't happen, because this goes from the Big 12 being a problem to what's going to happen to the AAC. So I think if you're Memphis, you just kind of have to hope for the best, but also try to focus on this season, because at this point, all this seems to be happening without, their control or, much say in the matter.
He is Evan Barnes, University of Memphis football beat writer. Of course, he does the Grizzlies and so much more for the Commercial Appeal. Follow him on Twitter at Evan_B. As always, my friend, thank you so much. I'm sure we'll see you out there at Liberty Bowl Stadium tomorrow.
All right. Appreciate y'all. Looking forward to it. Hopefully you see good folks out there tailgating. So come on out and let's enjoy this experience.
Absolutely. Thanks, Evan.
I have in my hand 3 tickets for tomorrow night's game. If you don't have tickets yet and you would like some tickets, namely 3 of them, we'll take caller number 3. It's a 3-for-3 special. Caller number 3 for 3 tickets to go see the Tigers opener against Nicholls tomorrow night.
You know what date it is today?
Today is the 3rd.
There you go.
It's a 3-for-3 on 3.
Yes.
And we're going to go on 3. No. 360-8255. 360-8255 is the AutoZone phone line. If you'd like 3 tickets for tomorrow night's Tigers-Nichols game, you can call up right now. And again, caller number 3 will get those tickets, 3 of them, 6 o'clock kickoff tomorrow night out at Liberty Bowl. Caller number 3, 360-8255, 3 tickets for the Tigers and the Colonels tomorrow night. If you're not going to the game, great place to go watch the game is East Coast Wings and Grill, which is located just off Highway 64 between Walmart and Lowe's. You could go by there. They got 60 different flavors of wings for you to choose from with 7 different heat indexes as well. Great beer selection, 24 different draft beers on tap, including many of the local beers that you could take, you can enjoy. Daily, Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6 is happy hour with 2-for-1 beers. That's, again, 3:30 to 6 Monday through Friday. Mondays, they've got 65-cent boneless wings all day long for that. If you're not into the wings, they've got great flatbreads. They've got some great burgers as well. Sausage and cheese plate, all kinds of different food. Something for everyone at East Coast Wings and Grill. Maybe you just want to get it for home. Well, they do deliver through DoorDash. You can also order online. Go by and pick it up with curbside service. All you got to do is go to eastcoastwings.com for easy online ordering. East Coast Wings and Grill, again, located just off Highway 64 between Lowe's and Walmart. Great place to go watch the games, or great food to bring to the house to watch those games with East Coast Wings and Grill.
More information on the death of former NFL wide receiver David Patton. He was killed in a motorcycle crash outside Columbia, South Carolina. According to reports, Patton crossed the median, causing a crash involving 2 other cars. One of the car's drivers was also taken to a hospital with undisclosed injuries. Certainly sad news for the guy who played 12 years in the National Football League and known mostly for the 4 years he played with the Patriots from 2001 to 2004. And, of course, that touchdown in the Super Bowl against the Rams from Tom Brady to give the Patriots a 14-3 lead, and they would go on to win the Super Bowl. Certainly sad news from the world of sports involving the death of David Patton. When we return, it's 10 in a row. It's the game show that has swept the nation. 360-8255. AutoZone phone lines are available right now. 360-8255. By the way, we've already given away the Tigers tickets, but we got a great prize package for you to play 10 in a row. Last Friday, I got to be honest with you guys. I got to scold you a little bit. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. Let's come back strong. We've been doing this for years and years and years. If you want to play, jump on the phone lines right now. Don't delay. 360-8255. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy take you home with Sports Time on Sports 56, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, if you're hungry for great Mexican food for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, got it. La Guadalupana. Guadalupana. Choose from tacos, burritos, enchiladas, sizzling shrimp, beef, or chicken fajitas, and even a Cuban sandwich filled with Mexican sauces, chicken, ham, steak, jalapenos, avocado, and more. How about super nachos topped with melted cheese, beans, sour cream, guacamole, tomato, and jalapenos? All great with nice cold beer, domestic and imported. Good prices, generous portions, great service at 2 locations, Summer Avenue and Cordova Road. La Guadalupana.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
Visit Frontier Western Store this summer to check out tons of new products. Frontier added so many new items in their women's boutique. There are daily arrivals with thousands of on-trend tops, jeans, and pants in stock at amazing prices. And guys, Frontier's your #1 Carhartt store. There's no one around with a larger selection of everyday fits and workwear. Wrangler and Ariat clothing also available. Frontier recently remodeled their entire store and expanded the world-famous boot showroom. Now there are even more dress and work boots in stock. After Ariat boots, then you've got to check out Frontier. There are over 1,000 pair of Ariat boots alone, and thousands more in other brands such as Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, and Twisted X. As if the selection isn't reason enough, there's Frontier's low prices.
Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so when you're ready for your next pair, you know right where to come. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Hi, everyone. This is Greg Gaston for FanDuel. One of the things I love about betting on FanDuel Sportsbook is you get more than one shot. Right now, new and existing users can get up to $25 back in site credit each day. Just place a minimum 5-leg baseball parlay, and if it falls one leg short, you get up to $25 back with parlay insurance. There is a reason FanDuel Sportsbook is America's #1 sportsbook. In addition to the parlay insurance, if you haven't tried FanDuel Sportsbook yet, new users can place your first bet risk-free. New users get up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code GASMAN to get in on the action. You must be 21 or over and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only for risk-free bet. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $25 per game. Restrictions do apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. If you have a gambling problem, call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
You don't think about a lawyer until something goes wrong. When that happens, let attorney Stephen Leffler fight for you and your family. You don't leave the house in the morning expecting an accident, but it happens every day. A car wreck, you slip and fall, or you get accused of a crime and find yourself fighting for your reputation. Stephen Leffler has been fighting for you for over 35 years. Don't do it alone. Let Stephen Leffler fight your battles for you. Call Stephen Leffler, 901-527-8830, or go to LefflerLaw.com. Here to fight for you and your loved ones.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
It's a cold wet December day when we touch the ground at JFK. Snow is melting on the ground. Yes, I heard the sound of an angel.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:28 the time. Final half hour and change before we call it a weekend. It is a holiday weekend with Labor Day being Monday, but we'll be back starting at 10 o'clock. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd in today for Gabe Kuhn. Right now, if you would like, please jump on the phone lines, the AutoZone phone lines at 360-8255, because it's time for 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
It's the game show that has swept the nation. 10 in a row. Eli, what are they playing for this week?
The winner this week is going to get a $25 gift certificate to Sweetgrass, Cooper Young. Also $25 gift certificate to East Coast Wings and Grill that I was just talking about. And also a couple of Malco movie passes.
Very nice. Both those places. Now, I've never been to East Coast Wings. I need to get out there. It's pretty far away from where I live now. And Sweetgrass both have great setups to watch games with the big TVs and all that. Just great setups at both places.
And if you go to East Coast Wings and Grill, there's probably better than 50-50% chance, 50-50 chance you're going to see me there.
I was going to say.
So you get that bonus. There, you get the bonus. You're probably going to see me there.
But if you're not,
as long as you're there on a day that ends in Y.
But if you go there and Eli happens to not be there, don't sit in his seat. They don't let anybody go near his seat right there. There's a little plaque there. But, yeah, that's a great prize package. So we got a couple of folks on the lines right now, but we do have open lines. And if this is anything like last Friday, I'm shutting this thing down and possibly pulling the plug on 10 in a row. We've done this for like 1,000 years. Need to participate. Need to jump on the phone lines. No time to wait. And because I'm still mad from last week, I made this question fairly hard. FBS college football teams who are either in the top 5 of the longest current home winning streak or the top 5 of the longest current road winning streak, or both. They can meet both criteria. So FBS college football teams who are either in the top 5 of the longest current home winning streak, or they're in the top 5 of the longest current road winning streak, or both.
Holy cow.
It's a current events question.
Good luck,
this is not historic.
People.
It's what's going on here from last year basically into this year with winning streaks are concerned. I'm sorry, I throw softballs out there, and nobody called in last week. It was very, very unfortunate.
We had a winner last week, so I don't know.
Well, we had like one. Yeah, but we begged. I'm not begging to give away a package like this. This is a great prize package.
I'll take the movie passes off y'all.
360-825. Yeah, we'll give them the Zach. 360-8255. I put a lot of work into
Greg, if I had to guess, you've begged to give away a package before. 901-360-8255. 901-360-8255. That is the AutoZone phone line. Again, $25 to Sweetgrass, $25 to East Coast Wings and Grill, and a couple of Malco movie passes going to the winner of 10 in a row today. So that's what's it cost to go to the movies now?
It's like $15.
It's
so
that much?
So that's probably about an $80 prize. $80 prize package.
Yeah, but you guys can sneeze at it because that's nothing, right? 360-8255. I'm mad.
I go in the middle of the day, so that's why. I get the matinee price.
How much is the matinee price?
It's like $8.
Okay.
$7, $8.
Okay.
That's not too bad.
That's not bad.
All right,
I
let's
haven't been
get
to a theater in a long, long time.
They won't let you in.
That's probably true, too. 360-8255. D is going to be first up. Hello, D.
Hey, D.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. You know what? I'm happy about you. You know, you're there for us, D. Nobody else. You're there, so I want you to win. But it's not.
Okay.
It's not easy. Okay. I'm going to read this one more time. FBS college football teams, and I won't be tricking you with FCS teams. So they're all FBS teams that are on here, who are either in the top 5 of the longest current home winning streak or the top 5 of the longest current road winning streak, or both. Oklahoma State.
No.
North Carolina.
No.
Ohio State.
Yes.
Alabama.
Yes.
Michigan.
Yes.
360-8255. Pretty good run there by D to start things off. He didn't mind being a guinea pig. Apparently nobody else wants to be. College football teams, these are all FBS teams, I'm not tricking you here, who are either in the top 5 of the longest current home winning streak, or they are in the top 5 of the longest current road winning streak, or both. One team who was up there on winning streak for the road teams lost last night, Boise State.
So is it updated as of last night?
It's updated as of last night, and that includes a team that already got a yes, and that was Ohio State.
Yeah. 360-8255, 360-8255. Again, $25 to Sweetgrass, $25 to East Coast Wings and Grill, and 2 Malco movie passes going to the winner. Bill is next up. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill. Bill, lower your
Bill,
radio
listen
there.
on the phone, not on the radio. We'll give you a few seconds, and then give you another try here. But turn down your radio, folks. You will not hear us in the correct time. Now let's go back to Bill. Hello, Bill.
Hey.
Hey, Bill. Here we go. Louisiana.
No.
360-8255.
Wow.
So soon we forget Billy Napier's team.
Tough one there for Bill. Let's go to Taylor. Hello, Taylor.
Hi, Taylor.
Hey, guys.
Oklahoma State.
No.
North Carolina.
Yes.
360-8255. SBS college football teams who are either in the top 5 of the longest current home winning streak or the top 5 of the longest current road winning streak, or both.
We do have a couple of open lines now. Again, playing for $25 from Sweetgrass, $25 from East Coast Wings, and a couple of Malco movie passes. That whole package is going to the winner. Let's see if that is Val. Hey, Val.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Val. Louisiana.
No.
360-8255. We've missed twice now on Louisiana. Wide open right now.
Just they don't believe in those Raging Cajuns.
Wide open right now. Now, Louisiana's got a tough one coming up. They got Texas.
Yes.
They got Texas. We made our picks, by the way, yesterday in the Pick 6. That was not one of the games. What do you think in Sark's first game as the Texas head coach?
I am not going to bet it. If I was, I think I would take the Raging Cajuns and the points.
It's a big ask for the first game for Sark, but if they come out and they look really good and take care of business, even though I know it's Louisiana, they're not a traditional power, that says an awful lot about Sark.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's go to Tim. Hey, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Hey, how are you guys doing today?
Doing well.
great.
I'm going to read the question again for you and for everybody else listening. FBS college football teams, and these are all FBS teams, I'm not tricking anybody, who are either in the top 5 of the longest current home winning streak or they rank in the top 5 of the longest current road winning streak or both. Oklahoma State.
Yes.
360-8255.
We've regressed.
Yes, we have. D started out and nailed half of them.
Yeah, he's been the longest of anybody. Was the first person to go. 360-8255, 360-8255, the AutoZone phone line. You can get next in line, and we do have a couple of open lines for you. Keith is next up.
Hey, Keith.
Hello.
Let's hope we can get past the first one on list 2. Louisiana.
No.
360-8255. Eli, tell everybody what Louisiana is.
Louisiana is a yes. I'm not sure if they're home or road, but Louisiana is a yes.
360-8255. College football teams, I won't even say FBS anymore. They're all FBS teams. College football teams who are either in the top 5 of the longest current home winning streak or in the top 5 of the longest current road winning streak or both.
Let's see what Brad can do. Hello, Brad.
Hi, Brad.
How's it going?
Going
Good.
well, thank you. Oklahoma State.
No.
North Carolina.
No.
Ohio State.
Yes.
Alabama.
Yes.
Michigan.
No.
Clemson.
Yes.
Coastal Carolina.
Yes.
360-8255. Yeah, you think Coastal Carolina it makes sense, but nope. Remember, it's only the top 5 on each list, so there's only so many.
Well, we got a couple of Tims lined up here.
We're on a Tim
two
run.
different people.
It's just like when you go on a run in the NFL draft and they start picking like safeties.
Yeah.
They're on a safety
And
run.
didn't we already have a Tim?
Yeah, we did.
This will be,
And now we got two more Tims?
and it's
Two
different
more
Tims,
Tims.
right?
And they're different.
Tim the
And-
Tool Man? Is it Tim the Tool Man?
And the owner of East Coast Wings is a Tim. I hope not. I don't think he's calling in to try and win a gift card to his oon place. So that wouldn't make a whole lot
What
of
is
sense.
going on with the Tims? All right, which Tim?
Tim 1, what's up?
Hey, Tim.
Hey.
Gotta guess
I don't know
which-
who you're talking
I
to.
know, exactly.
You're this Tim. You're Tim number 1.
You're on right now, this Tim. All right, here we go. College football
Okay.
teams who are either in the top 5 of the longest current home winning streak or in the top 5 of the longest current road winning streak or both. Louisiana.
Yes.
Golf clap for that one, right?
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Georgia.
Yes.
360-8255.
I would have said yes on Georgia too.
I know you got 10.
Oh, now we just lost we lost Tim 2.
Oh, no, we replaced it, though, Tim, with a Gary.
Tim 2, Tim Buck 2. I'm not sure what happened there, but we do go to Gary. Hello, Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Hey, guys.
Oklahoma State.
No.
North Carolina.
Yes.
360-8255 is the number. Phones are ringing now. Okay, you guys are much better. I'm much happier this week. You're calling in. We haven't had a winner because I went with a little harder question because I was mad because of last week. See, I'd be the teacher. Like, you wouldn't want me as the teacher. Like, if my class was just...
For many reasons.
What does that mean? Anyway, I would be the one to give a lot of homework if the kids, like, misbehaved in class or didn't do their last assignment.
360-8255, 360-8255, the AutoZone phone line. $25 to Sweetgrass, $25 to East Coast Wings, 2 Malco movie passes, all going to the winner of 10 in a row. Let's see if Jeff can be just that person. Hello, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey, guys.
And again, you may see Eli at East Coast Wings. Louisiana.
Yes.
Georgia.
No.
Fresno State.
No.
Notre Dame.
Yes.
Pitt.
No.
USC. Trojans. See there?
Jeff?
USC. What happened?
I don't know. I'm not sure what happened to Jeff. Jeff froze up.
We're in the middle of a run.
He just, I don't know. I don't know if he like accidentally muted his phone or what. Like he just Disappeared.
Hey, boy. Okay.
He went into silence on us. Gave us the silent treatment.
Next
up is Daniel. Hello, Daniel.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, how's it going?
Going well. Oklahoma State.
Yes.
360-8255. College football teams who are either in the top 5 of the longest current home winning streak or in the top 5 of the longest current road winning streak, or both. These are all FBS schools, so it's an FBS question.
Zach, is that the Jeff that just went silent on us?
Yes.
Okay, we're going back to Jeff here. Jeff, I'm not sure what happened. Are you back?
I'm not either.
Okay,
yes,
all right.
I'm back.
You went silent on us.
All right, Jeff rolled through Louisiana, Georgia, Fresno State, and Notre Dame. So we get to and he got Pitt as well. So he's halfway through. Next one is USC, the Trojans.
Yes.
Iowa State.
No.
Memphis.
Yes.
Auburn.
No.
Northwestern.
No.
There we go. That is the most unconventional winner we've ever had.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like the Boise State game last night. It took a long time. We had a little weather delay in the middle, but Jeff comes back and is able to win it. Congratulations, Jeff. You are a winner. You got $25 from Sweetgrass, $25 from East Coast Wings, and a couple of Malco movie passes coming your way. Hold on. Doug is on hold. I will give Doug a shot here.
Doug.
Second chance.
Hey,
Second
Doug.
chance opportunity. What's up, Doug?
There's probably not much of a chance.
Now, Doug, with an attitude like that, you are correct. You got to come in confident.
Don't doubt yourself, Doug. All right, here we go. Ready? Oklahoma State.
Yeah. No.
North Carolina.
No.
Ohio State.
Yes.
Alabama.
Yes.
Michigan.
No.
Clemson.
Yes.
Coastal Carolina.
No.
Cincinnati.
No.
Oh. Almost. Good run. Got caught up on Cincinnati. That's a yes. 2 that we didn't get to, Eli Savoy, Miami of Florida.
No.
Stanford.
No.
There you go. So some highlights of this. Ohio State has the longest current road winning streak. Last night, their win at Minnesota puts their winning streak at 10 straight games on the road. 10 straight on the road. The longest home winning streak is Clemson. They have won 28 consecutive games at home. Ohio State is on both the road and home list. They are number 3 on the home list at 23 straight. I just mentioned number 1 on the road list at 10. And Notre Dame is on both lists. They are tied for second on the road with 6 straight wins, and they are second in consecutive home wins at 24 straight games. Cincinnati, by the way, is 4th in home. They've won 20 straight. They will have the big road game at Notre Dame coming up this year. And the Memphis Tigers are 5th in the longest home winning streak. You should know that from the Tiger football report yesterday. They are at 15 games. There we go. Lot better job. Golf clap to all our listeners out there, those who competed, those who just listened, and congratulations to Jeff for the win. We need to take a time out, but before we do so, I want to tell you about FanDuel Sportsbook. College football is obviously back, and FanDuel Sportsbook is making Week 1 even more exciting. Right now, all customers get a risk-free bet on any Week 1 game. That's right, place any Week 1 bet and get a refund in site credit if you don't win. Number 1 rated sportsbook app in America is FanDuel. It's easy to use, safe and secure, fast payouts, really like Ole Miss. I'm with Eli. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to cover. You bet them on the 10.5, minus 10.5, you're going to get pretty good odds. And then you bet them just a straight-up win. I feel pretty confident in Ole Miss. Just open the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started. New to FanDuel Sportsbook, sign up with promo code GASMAN to also get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code GASMAN. You must be 21 or over and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund is $10 unless otherwise indicated. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789. Final segment coming up, which will include one final thing. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world at sports56whbq.com or on the Sports 56 app.
I thought we were done with this.
Say ya, Petey.
Don't call me Petey.
We're back, baby, doing Central Barbecue commercials.
This is very exciting.
Reminding everyone that there are 4 locations, all with that perfect Central Barbecue, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue.
You know, you don't really need me for these.
No, I want you for these. We're a team, you and me, telling the world about the best ribs in Memphis. Maybe the best ribs in the world, Central Barbecue ribs.
See, you didn't need me to do that, and don't call
Petey, Central Barbecue spots wouldn't be the same without you.
I think they would.
You know you love it, and there's no better barbecue than Central Barbecue.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
A couple of texts here on the AutoZone text line. Raider Corey says, guys, please help me understand why conferences refuse to accept or consider the Tigers for expansion. There must be some other underlying factors that are hurting us. We are on the rise in both basketball and football. Yeah, I mean, I don't know for sure what it is the, I certainly, UCF, I understand, certainly being it, because they want the Florida recruiting.
Right.
They want to be in Florida, and plus it's a massive school.
BYU makes sense.
BYU obviously makes sense. Houston is a massive marketplace. They've already got the Texas footprint. I could understand Big 12 wanting Houston. I could understand that.
And they were used to being the old Big 8 and all
so
that.
It kind of comes down to competing against Cincinnati, and I don't know. Again, Cincinnati right now, it's great timing for them because they're a top 10 preseason program. Maybe they're a little, maybe their proximity to West Virginia helps them out, kind of helping bridge that, and West Virginia is not completely out there by themselves. I don't know what it is, but yeah, there's certainly something that these conferences are looking at that just they don't want Memphis.
I think also part of it is just we have a bad perception, and I don't know why. There's crime in all those cities we just talked about. I hope that, to God, that's not it. And then as far as the academics are concerned, Memphis is on the rise. I don't know. I think Zach gave us the numbers earlier. I don't know if you did it on air or not, Zach, but I know that Memphis trailed in the latest World News report as far as where they rank behind Cincinnati and Central Florida and Houston. Correct?
Yeah, and then they're like one of the best programs on the international rankings.
Memphis is?
Yeah, Memphis is.
Yeah,
I know.
Under Dr. Rudd, they have really gone up. Now, are they going to be confused with Harvard? No, but neither is Cincinnati, neither is Central Florida, neither is Houston.
Another texter says, so much for that uptick in recruiting for Tiger football. That will come to an end. Yeah, I mean, again, it will. If this happens and you're part of a picked apart American, the gap becomes bigger between you and the Power Five. It hurts recruiting. It makes it tougher to recruit guys.
It completely hurts football recruiting, but it does not necessarily hurt basketball recruiting.
No, basketball
Hardaway's
is
still going to get his guys
because they could still win a championship.
Right.
You
just like Calipari did when we were in a different conference, when Memphis was in a different conference.
That same texter says, I guess I don't understand all these Grizzlies trades for guys they don't want on the roster. Well, it's so many of them are financial moves and
shedding
things like
contracts,
that.
saving money.
They got the trade that they made to get Hernan Gomez. They do want Jared Culver. Like they want to certainly at least want to take a good look at Jared Culver. Hernan Gomez was kind of the throw-in of that deal to make salaries work, all that stuff. They didn't want him. So now they were going to tell him not even to report. But now they got another deal that saves them a little bit of money because Boston actually wanted him. And so they ship him there for a couple guys that, again, they're probably not going to use, but they got rid of a guy they definitely weren't going to use. And they save a few dollars, and they get the swap of second-round picks. So they see it as getting something for a guy that you weren't going to use.
But out of all the moves that they have made, and they've made a ton of moves in the offseason, the players that were coming to Memphis, which we know many of them weren't going to stay in Memphis, the ones that end up staying are Steven Adams, Jared Culver. Is that it? And then, of course, they had the draft with Williams and with Santi Aldama.
Well,
is there anybody else? Am I missing anybody?
One of those, like Sam Merrill, could make it possibly.
I wasn't even including Merrill, but yes.
I mean, of these guys, like there's room for a couple of these guys to end up making the team. Culver is likely to be one of them.
Right. But who else is going to be, you think, with the team when camp opens up? Do you think Edwards will be and Dunn? I don't believe they will.
I don't know about maybe. Well, Dunn, I don't know health-wise where he's at. I don't if he's healthy. Maybe they take a look at him to see where he is. Edwards, I guess possibly you take a look at him too for camp, but I don't expect him to make the team. That's for sure. New Life Medical Center is located at 9160 Highway 64, open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday. They're also open 9 to 1 on Saturdays. They have COVID testing available. We've talked about it before, and they actually have 3 different types of tests involving COVID. They have the rapid COVID test. You can get your results in 10 to 15 minutes. They've got the PCR test with results in 2 to 3 days. They also do the antibodies test. So if you want to go in and see if you have the antibodies, you can do that as well, and you get those results in as little as 15 minutes. They are so they've got you covered as far as COVID testing is concerned, but they do all kinds of treatment, primary and urgent care. That's what they do for New Life Medical Center. Again, 9160 Highway 64. That's newlifemedcenters.com, the website. The phone number 213-0100. The COVID testing now is all done by appointment only. So if you want to go get a COVID test, you do need to give them a call ahead of time as well. 213-0100. Again, 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday and 9 to 1 on Saturday. New Life Medical Center. Time out for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
Well, an agreement has been reached for NHL players to participate in the 2022 Olympics in Beijing after not participating in the Winter Games in 2018. The 5 Olympiads prior to that, the Winter Olympics, NHL players were allowed. But again, in 18 they weren't. But they're back in 2022, so this January they will be able to participate. The agreement does carry an opt-out clause. The NHL and the NHL Players Association can pull out of the Olympics should COVID-19 conditions worsen or if the 21-22 NHL schedule is disrupted by cancellations and the league feels it needs to use the Olympic break to make up games. The deadline for the opt-out is believed to be in early January, sources telling ESPN. I think the Olympics may be in February, if I'm not mistaken. But good thing for the NHL players to be able to participate again for their respective countries.
We've seen a a lot of basketball players in the past who have made the transition to football and became really good players in the NFL, especially at the tight end position. The latest to try that is the member of the Baylor National Championship team, Mark Vital, who has signed a contract with the Seahawks to their practice squad as he transitions and tries to become a tight end in the NFL. The Seahawks have picked him up and added him to their practice squad. He's a big old boy. He was one of my favorite guys on that team as well. Love the way he played, and now he'll give it a shot to try and make the NFL.
Well, when I hear you say transition, I think of Bruce Jenner, so I think of a whole completely different thing. But transitioning from the one sport to the other, for him, I think he's got an opportunity. He is a huge dude.
He's a big guy. He's strong as heck, and everything they were talking about was always an extremely hard worker and everything else. So good for him getting that opportunity with the Seahawks.
Tour Championship Round 2 getting underway soon. Patrick Cantlay, 13 under par now after, of course, having 10 under to start the tournament. He has a 2-shot lead over John Rahm, who shot a 65 yesterday. Victor Hovland already on the course, 1 under par, is 8 under par as Round 2 is actually underway at Eastlake in Atlanta, the Tour Championship. Well, that'll do it for this day and this week here on Sports 56 Middays. It has been a busy one. We are back on Labor Day Monday to bring you the latest in sports starting at 10 o'clock. Should be a fun weekend. Our thanks to Dennis O'Connor from the Grizzlies, John Bartless, David Johnson, and Evan Barnes for joining us on the program. And a big shout out to all of you folks. We appreciate you listening to the program, your texts, your phone calls. Again, just being a part of our program each and every day. We can't thank you enough. Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio is coming up next. For Eli, for Zach, for Gabe, I'm Greg. Have a great holiday weekend. And again, we'll talk to you on Monday.